Good job you remembered that. Hello, 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 hello. We are live, and it is day one of the finals, Lozzie.
Oh, I'm excited. And typically there is obviously, as you guys probably know by now, delays, but it looks like within half an hour we should be starting. Still waiting for some updates.
Yes.
But hopefully we'll know very shortly. If anyone's there, if you want to comment in the comment section, I guess.
In the live chat, Lozzie. It's
The
a
chat.
live chat, yes.
How are we doing, guys? Are you all excited for the final of World's Strongest Man? Looks like they're changing the first event because the first event was meant to be the Fingal's Fingers. Very, very dangerous event in wet conditions.
Yes.
So they're hoping that the weather dries up later and probably going to start with the shield carry, I think.
Yeah, they have confirmed they're starting with the shield carry now. So in the meantime, though, we have the weights and rules for the events that they're going to be doing today. So let's quickly go through them. Lozzie, I will leave you in charge of the chat for a second.
And that's dangerous, as everyone knows. But yeah, hopefully it won't be too long. It's interesting. Maybe some of the newer athletes don't like these delays because they're not used to it. Someone like Brian Shaw is going to be used to this, as it was very common back in, when Brian first started. Now they run a much smoother system at World's Strongest Man. They try and keep on top of things. Obviously, lots of fans there to watch as well. So it is much, much faster paced than it used to be. But athletes like Brian, some of the more experienced guys, will be used to these type of delays and just controlling the nerves, controlling how they time their warm-ups. That's something that, a lot of people are just going to want to warm up, and then suddenly it's pushed back a bit more and it's pushed back a bit more. And that could be the case today. So something that everyone kind of needs to keep an eye on.
We haven't had any confirmation about how they'll decide the order for the first event. We assume it would be the guys who are in second place in their group would be the first half going out, because it is a two-man race, the shield carry. Well, it's not a race because it's for distance.
Yeah.
But it is two at a time for the shield. So it shouldn't actually take that long once it does get going. But the rules for the shield carry, it's a 196 kilo shield. There is no time limit, but athletes cannot wait at the start. So if you guys watch the Rogue Invitational, you'd have seen a couple of athletes took a little while to get going because there was no time limit. They're not allowed to do that here. They're not allowed to let the other guy get ahead so that they've got the advantage of being behind them and seeing how far they go. So they'll be given one warning if they seem to be fumbling unnecessarily or stalling. After that one warning, if they don't make a clear effort to get going, then they could be disqualified from that event. So that's an interesting little twist. What are you looking at, Lozzie?
The Strongman archives.
Lozzie's looking at the Strongman archives.
No, I'm looking for the link to pin it.
Oh, okay. Is it similar to the Husafel stone carry? Yeah, not as deep as the Husafel stone. The shield isn't quite as thick. And it's very similar in shape to the Giants Live shield carry that they use.
I saw it yesterday on
yeah, it's a cool looking shield.
Instagram.
I know not a lot of people, because it's a rain-sponsored event, they really wanted a massive rain can, but we don't
Could
have
be
that,
something for the future.
Yes. Peter, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. Let's see.
Just seeing if I can find this shield. Did you guys see the
dumbbells? The dumbbells are insane looking. There was a video of Mitch Hooper cleaning it, like climbing it up his body. It was ridiculous.
That was mental. I've just managed to.
Loz, shield a bad event on wet surface?
Not so much of an issue, as long as the concrete floor. It would be dangerous on, say, grass, something slippery, but it's not an event where speed and grip is so important. As long as they've got decent shoes, shouldn't be an issue. It's not like a truck pull where that friction against the floor is very important, and it's not an event like a tire flip or a finger where that slipping could really seriously damage you.
The finger would be the worst thing to do if it was wet.
Out of these events,
because if that slips,
I wouldn't want to do a truck pull either in the wet conditions.
No,
truck pulls
absolutely
tomorrow.
Not. Yeah. Let's quickly go through the other rules of the events they're doing today. The Kanak deadlift is 353 kilos for reps, obviously.
See this, but this is what the shield looks like.
There you go.
So there you go.
It's cool looking. It looks really cool. And it's a 60-second time limit on the deadlift for reps. They are not allowed to drop the bar on the way down. And you guys probably saw, I love Brian with his tape measure, measuring the height off the bottom. It looks like it's a very slight deficit as well. So not your standard 9 inches, just a little bit smaller than that. Yeah.
That'll be interesting, especially with no figure of 8s this year.
Yeah.
That power off the floor is going to be important.
Yeah.
Could affect things slightly.
Thank you for the super chat, Brad. The shield looks sick this year. I think it looks really good. It looks
really cool. It's going to be interesting to see if anyone can actually get their hands around it.
Yeah.
Because that makes a big difference on shield carry. Could be really good for someone like Tom Stoltman, who has that long wingspan. He's called the albatross for a reason. And obviously with Atlas stones, you can just wrap around them, and it does help on an event like this. Even though he might not have had the best performance in the heats on the Conans, I'd expect a much better performance on the shield carry from him.
And then the other event they're going to be doing today, the Fingal's Fingers. Now, this is the weight in hand, if you can accurately measure weight in hand.
What's
but it's Fingal's.
Yeah, these weights are completely different to when I was competing, which confuses me.
Yeah.
Because they just used to say what they weighed.
The whole thing.
Whereas now it's kind of like a weight in hands. But that varies depending on which
the angle,
pivot point you're at. So I don't really understand these weights.
I know, or how they're getting them. But nonetheless, so we've got 5 fingers, 145 kilos, 154, 159, 163, and 172. A 60-second time limit, and quite an important part of the rules: no shoulder shunting allowed. It has to be in their hands the whole time.
That's an important factor,
because that's something people used to do.
Something I can kind of just explain from doing them before. The first 2 fingers are fairly easy. Everyone will flip the first 2 pretty comfortably. The third one is where it starts to get heavy, and then the 4th and the 5th are much more challenging.
Yes.
So, it's generally because it becomes longer. Each implement becomes longer, so you have more and more weight over the back of you as you're kind of pushing. And that last one, if they flip that, it's awesome. I'd expect someone like Brian Shaw to blitz through them. Some of the shorter athletes tend to struggle a bit more, but they can make up for it with power. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Novi was able to get his hands around the shield. Yeah, I saw that as well. So
he had it up really high in this position. So that'll be interesting to see if that's the more effective way to go. Because really, you don't want it too high, because it can
hinder your vision,
crush against your chest. Sometimes it's nice to have it slightly lower so you can get a little bit of airing.
Yeah. How comes you didn't? Why aren't you competing, Lotto?
Because I'm an old has-been.
There you go. Simple. Beesums, thank you for the super chat. It looked like Brian and Tom got their hands around.
Yeah, and that's going to be an advantage.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
Magnus Samuelsson, back when he was competing, often didn't bother putting his hands around it. He had extremely strong biceps, and he was a fit athlete. He was very good at it without getting his fingers locked in. Older fans might remember a British athlete called Andrew Rains, Stumpy, who used a little ring. He kind of had this like sneaky ring that he kind of held onto like this, so he kind of didn't have
hands at the back.
He had shorter hands, and he sneaked out with that. But I'm sure the referees won't be letting anything like that go these days.
It's shenanigans like that which end up in the rule book in the end. Do you have a picture of the dumbbell? Asks hip flipping mama.
I can find one.
Thought the deadlift was 75 seconds, or we're being told 60, and that's from a World's Strongest Man official source. So that should be correct what they're saying, but we will see. I'm standing on traffic cones to be able to see. Do we know the order? No, we don't know the order yet, Sam, but we do know that it's going to be 2 men at a time on the shield carry. So it's only 5 rounds. It's going to be over quite quickly. One person we need to watch out for on the shield as well is Jaakko Schoonvinkel, because when I spoke to him before Worlds, he said he was particularly looking forward to the loading race, which he absolutely smashed in the group, and the shield carry if he made it through to the final. And now he's in the final. What are you smiling at, Loz?
Just the size of this damn dumbbell.
I know.
Right, there's Mitch Hooper trying to lift this. This is the
reflection of the light.
That's Mitch Hooper. He's a big dude, and that is the dumbbell. But that is the heaviest dumbbell. So that's
big.
It's 155 kilos, 142 pounds, something like that.
No.
Sorry, 342 pounds. But I'd be surprised if we get up to that one, to be quite honest with you guys. The first dumbbell is 115 kilos.
I've got all the weight jumps.
Yeah, let's have the weight jumps, please.
we'll just get to your comment in a second, Patrick. So the weight jumps for the max dumbbell are 115 kilos, 125, 132.5, 140, 145, 151, and then the last biggest one is 155 kilos.
There's a good chance we see a lot of guys tying on this
Yes.
event, because the first few dumbbells are more normal size dumbbells that the athletes are used to, giant dumbbells. But these bigger ones are ridiculous and going to be awkward. I mean, I think if they want a world record, probably should have tried to keep every dumbbell the same size if possible.
Yeah.
But visually, I get it. Visually, it looks impressive, but it's just, you know, you could see Mitch, being Mitch, decided he was going to lift it in the yard.
Was this your face, Lozzie? Asked Patrick,
yeah,
the monkey
honestly,
covering the eyes.
I was like, what the hell are you doing, man? But, you know, I spoke to him last night and he's pretty convinced no one's lifting that dumbbell.
Yeah.
I'm pretty convinced no one's lifting that dumbbell. Mitch said he just wanted to be the only athlete to clean it.
There you go. I can't see that being the dumbbell that the record goes on, because it's just crazy, isn't it? But it does.
What is the current record? Is it
150 still? Mateusz
Kiliszkowski did 330 pounds on a dumbbell as a exhibition lift during Summer Mania, which was Glenn Ross's World Championships.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to watch that, but that was a more normal size dumbbell.
Rauno in the house. This somewhere is better. You can look without voice. I know you make YouTube. Right, hold on, Rauno. If you are watching, the dumbbells are looking insane, says George. Thank you for the super chat. They are. It's going to be interesting. And also, just to add, they've got a 60-second time limit on the dumbbell, so it's not that they're only allowed one attempt, but any attempts they make have to be within those 60 seconds.
So it does still look like they're going to be starting at 9:30.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's not long. Nicole, thank you for the super chat. Do you think that Brian will come back in some form? Oh, what?
I think Brian stays involved in Strongman.
Yeah, heavily.
Obviously, he's got his own competition, which is going to be his last ever competition, the Shore Classic later in the year. That'll be exciting. But I'm sure Brian will stay heavily involved in the sport.
And Lewis, thank you so much for the very, very generous super chat. Hey, Liz and Loz, adore your content to bits and just wanted to say a big thank you for everything you do for us, and to Loz for being a big inspiration for me on my own weight loss journey from 155 kilos to 116. Amazing. Keep it up, guys. Much love. Thank you so much.
Very much, Lewis. And that is unbelievable. Well done.
Congratulations. You must feel light as a feather now. Ewan, thank you for becoming a member. There you go.
Thank you very much, buddy.
No spamming, please. You tell them, Nicole. Colin said 75 seconds. Maybe it's 75 then. Who knows? But this was sent to me by the world's strongest man, the official rules. So I don't know. Really mysterious. Thank you for the super chat. Alexi couldn't do the 135 kilo dumbbell in training.
I wouldn't pay too much attention to what he does in training.
No.
even in warm-ups.
Yeah,
he is a very different man to who he is on stage. I have witnessed him struggling to pull 370 kilos to the point of it looked like max effort, and then he'll suddenly go and pull 1,000 pounds in the competition. He's just one of those guys that seems to switch it on when it counts. And to be quite honest, I've had training sessions or even been at World's Strongest Man in the yard where you're not really in the zone. You struggle like hell.
Yeah.
I remember on the car walk one year, I picked it up and just went dizzy and put it down. And one of the athletes was kind of laughing at me. Come the competition, I absolutely blitzed it. It's a different mindset when you're competing. So I wouldn't pay too much attention to what he did there.
Anthony, thank you for the super chat. I'm not tall either, so always loved Stumpy Reigns.
Stumpy was a beast, especially with squatting. Him and Glenn Ross at one of the Britain's Strongest Man competitions had an absolute epic squat out between them. They both destroyed each other for the whole competition because they were trying to outdo each other. I can't remember what the weight was, but they did ridiculous reps, and then they were both screwed for the rest of the comp. Squat for reps is brutal.
It's funny, like that dumbbell to shoulder could almost be an event on its own, couldn't it? Just the clean.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marianne, for gifting memberships. That's very generous and very kind of you. Rauno. Right, let's get back to Rauno. He is offering to FaceTime me during the event so I can watch it. I'll tell him.
That'd be cool.
Should we? What is
him.
better? You can look without voice. I know you make YouTube. If you don't mind, Rauno.
We might have some eyes on the ground.
There we go.
Obviously, we can't put it on screen, guys. But if he does give us some updates, at least it's nice to have that visual and explain to people what's going on.
I've got to get him. We've got to get him back on the channel.
We will. Who wants to see Rauno back on the channel? Well, we're going to see him.
We're going to see him in July. He's going to be attempting to break the 18-inch deadlift world record.
Aren't we seeing him before then?
No.
June?
No.
Are we not going over to Estonia?
In July.
Oh.
Yeah. No, we're not seeing him in June.
For some reason.
No, it's July. End of July.
Good job, Liz keeps me on track with my dates of where I'm supposed to be everywhere.
Way to go, Wayne. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Florian. I'm not going to try and read it all.
Congratulations to Rauno. Didn't he do well?
He was
I
so
know I sound
good,
like what's the presenter called?
Was it Jim Davidson who said? Didn't he do well? Or was that Bruce Forsyth?
Bruce Forsyth. That's it.
Didn't he do well? Yeah, sorry.
Hopefully I'm nothing like Bruce Forsyth.
You are a little bit.
Oh, God.
Like you sort of do the head bobble when you get really excited and laugh. Can't dance as well as him though.
Toby thinks Yako is gonna
shoot everyone's winkle on the shield carry.
I'm looking forward to seeing what the newer athletes can do. The OSG qualifiers, shall we call them?
Yeah, he said he's really looking forward to the shield carry, but less so the max dumbbell. Go on, you read that one.
Did you see Carlos Nasser break the under 89 kilo clean and jerk record with 221 kilo lift at the European Championships? And he's only 18 years old. I did not see that, but that is totally insane. Just crazy lifts.
Wow.
Some of the talent that's out there in various different strength sports is unbelievable.
And Pito, is that? Thank you for the super chat. Hello, Auntie. Yep, we'll go back to that in a sec. Hello, Auntie and Uncle. Now that Wuss seems to be dead, any chance to see World's Strongest Man in Dubai? Weather is great this time of year.
I'd love World's Strongest Man to be in Dubai. I hear they do plan on doing some things back in Dubai. We're still waiting to hear some confirmation. But Dubai was awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We used to love going over there for competitions. Hospitality is always very good there.
The parent company of World's Strongest Man do a lot of events in Dubai as well. They do a lot of
kind of UFC, well, in the Middle East and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could happen in the future.
Yes. Marianne Britton, Eyewitness, gifted subs, shout out. Yes.
Thank you
very
so much, Marianne.
And Erin, thank you for the super chat. Shout out to those gifting memberships again. It's very kind. Our little family is
growing.
Yeah, we're going to do an intimate members live, and there'll be 600 people on it.
You've got things planned for the members, haven't you?
Yes, very much so. We've got Rauno Hainler on FaceTime.
Rauno's in the house.
Oh, what am I doing? Join. Rauno.
Okay, you see it.
I can see.
Rauno.
Thank you.
Is it starting?
Oh, he's testing.
He's just testing. Okay.
No
worries. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great view though. And mind your finger. Perfect. Thanks, Rauno. There we go.
Rauno in the house.
Everyone loves Rauno. I should have put my t-shirt on, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you'll have to tomorrow. I've got my Mitch t-shirt on today.
Going to get people have a go at you again for being biased.
Well, I coach him and he's the only athlete I coach in the final, so I think people will understand.
Can never have too much Rauno in our lives. Lawrence, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for the coverage.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you all so much.
It's like part of the World's Strongest Man package deal. Most people will have a spreadsheet open, this on, and then something else going on as well, looking at social media.
Yeah, the amount of people I've seen that are training with it on in the background or at work and they're listening in their ears. Yeah. It's cool that so many people are keen to know what's going on. And just seeing so many more World's Strongest Man fans.
I know, it's brilliant.
I know I always say it, but you've got to remember, I competed in an era where we did it in a car park with 2 people watching.
Yeah.
It was
my Facebook memories today. Hold on, I might be able to.
What have you got?
It was from 2015. So this time in 2015, we were at World's Strongest Man Malaysia,
and it was raining.
It was raining. There was a rain check during the stones, but there was literally obviously everyone's huddled for cover under there, but there was no one there. No. There was maybe 10 people who were watching. There
was like family and friends. That was it. Not even friends. You just because it wasn't very fan friendly
No,
back then.
no.
So
There's Eddie.
it's so much better now.
But yeah, it was just about 10 people watching the Stones at the end of the group stages. So it's so much bigger now. Sam, thank you for the super
And
chat.
2015 isn't that long ago.
No,
My first Worlds
8
was
years.
2008.
Yeah, I know. In Tom's position, would you keep an eye on other athletes and be aware of who your biggest competition is, or would you keep it as you versus yourself?
Tom needs to focus on his performances. If Tom turns up like Tom can, he's the favorite. Like, Tom is an unbelievable strongman when he's on form. His only real opposition is himself, and he needs to focus on himself and not let any other athletes try and get into his head, because they might.
Yeah.
You know, gamesmanship, it goes on. People try and get into that kind of psyche. It happens in all sports, and he needs to just focus on what he can do, because he is capable of doing exceptional things.
Doppelganger, and they have done World's Strongest Man in the cold climate. They've done it in Iceland and Sweden once each.
Sweden was really cold. It was snowing at the time.
They had like a sleigh push and everything, didn't they?
Yeah.
All that was missing
And
was
I've
Santa.
competed in very cold conditions before. I've done Iceman, which is in Lapland, up in Finland, and that was freezing. What was it, minus 38 at night?
Yeah, with the wind chill factor,
minus 10 in the day.
Yeah.
And
that was cold.
Like, that was so cold.
Yeah.
We just got off the plane and our nostril hairs would freeze.
Yeah.
I had about 10 layers on. It was just
I had
ridiculous.
about 20. I was like that. And I was still trying to, because Zadrunas wasn't competing, I was trying to stand next to him for warmth. Nate.
Weren't you with one of the sponsors drinking whiskey or something?
I was. Yeah, I would say anything. I'd do anything to get warmer. Nate, thank you for the super chat. I really hope World's Strongest Man learns from this year. Tough to watch as a fan live. Even in person, it's not that easy to watch live with these weather issues that they're having. I've seen people bring in ladders to get a good view. But yeah, I think with the amount of people that have turned up this year, World's Strongest Man need to look at that and address the setup on site to make sure that they can either cap it or accommodate the amount of people that are likely to show up. Lewis, thank you so much for becoming a member. Everyone loves Rano. Come on, Brian. What is the first event, Alec? It's been
going to be
changed.
shield carry.
Yes, it was supposed to be Fingal's fingers, but they are trying to ensure it's as safe as possible.
How heavy is the shield?
198, did I say? Either 198 or 196.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah. It's for distance as well. It's not a set, max distance, or not a set limit on the distance.
No, it's all, shield is normally for distance.
Yeah.
So as far as you can go without putting it down, and that gets tough.
Me, thank you for the super chat. Thank you again for your wonderful coverage. Also, please tell Big Brian that you guys need to commentate on the Shore Classic. Stay well, Jay.
Thank you very much. You guys need to tell Brian. If fans kind of tell him, it's more powerful than us telling him.
I was winding him up when we saw him. We were just having a laugh of him at the Rogue Invitational, and Loz said about, bringing us over. And Brian was like, yeah, would love to get you over. And I was like, I don't know, Brian, it's not that big yet, is it? But just to play on my whole, everyone loves Brian. Everyone, Liz hates Brian, sorry. Russ, thank you for the super chat. If Mark Felix was in the finals, he could carry the shield with one hand. Pinch it along.
If Mark Felix was in the final, that would have been incredible.
Can you imagine? Oh, Mark has been quite clumsy on this shield before, because they have to pull out.
He's never done this shield.
No, but a very similar shield with the same rules and start. Because I saw the video of Darren telling them how it would start. They have to pull the platform out, so then they tell you to go.
The athletes get under the lift. They lift it. They will pull the platform away, so it's not going to trip them up, and then they get to go.
But Mark has gone a few times before that platform's been moved, and he's gone flying over it, hasn't he? Deary me. Bless him. Really mysterious. Thank you for the super chat. If they did top two each group and next two highest points, Rauno and Aethel would have gone to finals as well, and Bobby would have just missed in 13th place. But that's the problem. Like when we did the comparison of all 30, Bobby was clearly the best guy who wasn't in the final. So that also doesn't really feel that fair. I mean, I just don't like it. 2 wild cards. Fans get to choose.
Rauno, has got an argument. Bobby's got an argument. It's so devastating for athletes when you can see that the groups are tougher in some than others.
Yeah.
It is difficult. Scott, thank you for becoming a member. What are you looking at? Mysterious. Wait, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for doing this live for us all. My girlfriend Ashley and I have met you at the Arms. I think I remember.
Yeah, we know.
Truly wonderful. Also, how can I purchase a membership on my phone? We don't know on the phone, do we? You might have to wait till you're onto a computer, but you know, you don't have to do it now. I mean, you don't have to do it at all, but thank you very much if you do. Someone might be able to help in the comments, but I'm absolutely useless when it comes to technology.
When they came over to me at the Arnold's this year, I was like, "Oh, Ashley, isn't it?" She was like, "You remember?" But I just remembered her because she was so sweet. So thank you so much.
Do you know what I like now is we'll go to places and people are more excited to meet you than me.
Yeah, that's just weird. That's very odd to me.
It's nice.
And Nikki, thank you so much for becoming a member. Coffee's almost finished and ready to go. What's the time, Lazo?
It's 25 minutes past. So
hopefully they're doing TV stuff now.
All being well, it looks like 5 minutes and they should be starting. I would not be surprised if it's delayed a bit more though.
Ben, thank you for becoming a member. Someone saying, "Hey, Liz learned how to say Fingal's fingers." I can read it. Like, it's fine if I can read it. If I have to say it from memory.
See, that confuses me. Like, I'm worse reading it.
Which is weird.
It's not. I'm dyslexic. So.
Ben, thank you for the super chat. Only found the sport through you guys and Eddie's Netflix documentary. Thanks to you both for being such great ambassadors.
Thank you very
so
much,
Ben. We're glad you found it.
Do you know what? Guys like Eddie and Thor have brought in so many new fans. Brian Shaw as well. So if we can get new people into it as well, that is so good.
Definitely. Lots of Brian fans in the chat today. Looking forward to hopefully having the fairy tale ending to his World's Strongest Man campaign. No one, like when you look at World's Strongest Man alone, no one has had a better career at Worlds than Brian. No. He's got the most finals, the most consecutive finals. He's got 4 wins. He's got the most event wins at World's Strongest Man. Sorry, were you going to say something?
I just saw someone asking how much I could deadlift at 22 years old, but the honest answer is I can't even remember.
No.
Do you know what? I wouldn't worry about what you're lifting at a certain age. I'd focus on making sure you keep progressing. That's the most important thing.
They're using the Giants Live Shields, but they have rebranded them. It won't be Giant Shields. Like they never take Giants equipment over to America.
They're different to the shields that they use at Giants Live by the looks of things. I might be wrong, but they look slightly
Giants
different.
Live would ever ship over shields to World's Strongest Man because World's Strongest Man get most of their equipment made by Rogue or Rain in the USA. So I'd be very surprised, but who knows? Johnny, thank you for the super chat first. Thanks. Why 2 deadlifts? Why not 1 and then a squat or a yoke?
Why 2 stones?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Every damn yeah. Also, shouldn't World's Strongest Man have some sort of grip event? I want a farmer's walk. Finally, thanks again. Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah, they had the Hercules hold a couple of years ago. Yeah. They had the frame carry.
They've been doing the Giants medley, haven't they?
So it just changes each year. Yeah. I like grip events. I really do. I'm a big fan of grip stuff, as most of you that follow regularly will know. So I'm always keen for a grip event, but they tend to change the events. Stones are always in there. Deadlift is always in there. They're standard strongman events these days that come up in almost every competition. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for a squat in the final. I think when Martins won, they did a squat instead of a deadlift.
Yes, he did in 2019. They only had 5 events in the final that year, though.
When Eddie won, they had a squat and a deadlift in the final. I know one year when Zadrunas won, I think they had both. Squat turns up less often, though.
It does. And we
deadlift
tend to
is more standard in strongman.
Yeah. Simple spreadsheets. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Kyle, your comment is not attached to your super chat, but I will keep an eye out for you, and Loz can have a little look for you as well.
So it looks like the fans are being let into the strongman area at 9:30 their time, which is a few minutes time, and then it should be starting pretty soon after that.
Okay, I feel so bad for people. Like some people turned up at 6 a.m. expecting an 8 a.m. start, and they've just been out in horrible conditions waiting to be let into the queue so they can go. There's like 1,000 people there or something. Like people have been going back and forth trying to get dry clothes, getting breakfast number 2. I do feel really bad for anyone who's there and has been out in the elements. Sarah, thank you for becoming a member. What have we got? Welcome, Sarah. And Liz still doesn't like Brian. Oh dear.
Uncle John.
Uncle John's arm wrestling show. Nice match at World's Strongest Man, Loz. Looks like you and I are
Arm Wars, not World's Strongest Man.
Yeah. I don't know. You read.
Yeah, Uncle John is, if you don't follow Uncle John, guys, he is a very entertaining arm wrestler. He's the bad guy of arm wrestling, and I'm up against him next week on the Arm Wars channel.
The bad guy. Should we give him a little boo?
He can't be that bad, though. He's super chatting and supporting the channel. So thank you very much, buddy, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Who is coming 6th, Liz? Who knows? Honestly, it's so hard. I just don't feel like I've been able to commit to a prediction this year.
Very, very difficult this year. Very difficult. There's going to be such a battle, and who knows? There's so many kind of possibilities. There really is. It's one of the most wide open comps. I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Bromspad, thank you for the super chat. For the dumbbells, is it the heaviest dumbbell they can press in 60 seconds or like a max deadlift event where they all go out on each weight and up from there? Yeah, it's like the max deadlift. So the first weight will be 115 kilos. Athletes are allowed to skip weights as well if they want to. They do not have to do each one, but obviously that can pay off. That can end up being a disaster too. So but yeah, each athlete will have 60 seconds to attempt the dumbbell if they want. If they fail it in that 60 seconds, then they're out of the competition. Well, not out of the whole competition, out on that event. Cushy Stoltman was saying she does not know how to rest when folk come up to her. Oh, rest or react. She likes it, but finds it strange. I think most of the wives are the same, to be honest.
It is strange, isn't it? Because, you know, Cushy's lovely. She's there supporting her man, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's so nice that people love them as a whole family. You know, the Stoltman clan, if you like. I mean, we love the Stoltman's dad. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's really sweet.
Just such a nice man. And, you know, to have 2 sons competing at World's Strongest Man must be such an incredible experience.
His chest must be bursting with pride.
Yeah.
Strongman archive spreadsheet is pinned at the top of the chat. Well done, Nicola. Keeping everyone on track.
I pinned it.
Oh, well done, Lars.
Nicola told me to.
Okay. Chris, thank you for the super chat. Hi, Liz and Loz, all the way from Oz. Best strongman content available by far. How you don't have 1 million plus subs is beyond me. Would love Brian to win, but this is a 2-horse race between Mitch and Alexei. Very interesting. Not even got Tom in that.
Wow. Well, firstly, thank you so much for that. We would be in cloud cuckoo if we might had a million subscribers. If we get to 150,000, would be amazing. So if you haven't subscribed already, please go and do that. But thank you all of you that have, and thank you to all of you that support us. It's we love Strongman. We love doing this, whether it's World's Strongest Man or smaller competitions that we're at week in, week out. We try and keep promoting the sport as much as possible.
Absolutely. Ellie Stig, thank you for the super chat. How was your first experience at World's Strongest Man? Not just the events, but the whole atmosphere.
It was really cool. Obviously, your first Worlds, you're sort of up against all these legends that you've looked up to for years. And it was very much a learning experience for me. I was very much there to focus on doing the best that I could, but I took it as a learning experience. I tried to focus on my own performance in terms of the competition, and I did pretty well. I kind of, actually won an event in the heats, and I was kind of very close on a few others. Just missed out on getting to the final, but well, you were fourth behind Brian Shaw, actually. Brian was 3rd, and then we had Mariusz Pudzianowski in our group and a guy called Harold Haugen, who at the time was one of the best. And I loved every minute of it. I even dislocated my big toe, but I still loved the experience. I loved the fact that I was on the rise. I got noticed. I got to talk to a lot of the better athletes, the more experienced athletes, and learn more and understand how World's Strongest Man worked, because it was very different to any show that I'd done.
Didn't Phil Pfister say that you didn't look strong?
Yeah. He did. I showed him.
And I took that personally.
Yeah. But, no, it was great.
He meant it in a nice way, didn't he? He said,
World's Strongest Man is much better now in terms of the way they run things and the organization and the way they look after the athletes and the families. That was something back then it wasn't as good. Like
Yeah.
they really didn't help, athletes that brought people with them. The other thing that was very different back then, which I think is really good now, is World's Strongest Man allow everyone to stay till the end. Whereas back then, if you didn't make the final, they just shipped you back home.
Yeah, they changed your flights to send you back home.
I think now that they allowed the athletes have been eliminated to stay and enjoy the experience, that's a really nice addition. And fair play to Worlds for doing that, because they're doing it at their cost. And
with the hotel and everything.
I think that's really cool.
Ricky, Tom, and Billy, thank you so much for becoming members. We're just hearing as well it's going to be delayed again because rain has started, but we'll wait and see if we get any word from our people on the ground. Matthias, thank you for the super chat. How will you
trying to make you jealous?
Celebrate? Oh my goodness, what is happening here? How will you celebrate when Mitchell wins World's Strongest Man, Lasse?
Oh, let's take it one step at a time. I would be so unbelievably proud if Mitch wins. Might even fly out to Canada to see him. But right now, there's a long way. There's 6 events to get through, and he needs to focus on one at a time. But I'm sure there will be lots of celebrations.
Oh, I might just be getting the order of the first event through on my phone in a minute. So that would be nice. Oh, very exciting. Trey's the next Brian Shaw. Do you know what? I see Trey more as the next Zydrunas. There's something very Zydrunas-esque about Trey Mitchell, the way his built, his strengths, the way he floats. Just quite Zydrunas-y. Butthead, thank you for the super chat. Instead of a shield carry, have a Brian Shaw carry. That would be way harder.
we had a members comment from Guy L. He said, Hooper messing around in the boneyard. Loz happy? No. Loz was like, what are you doing, man? But I know Mitch, and he knows his body well. So, if I was there with him, I wouldn't have let him do it. But he's almost hyperactive. He needs to be doing stuff. He can't just sit and rest. And he doesn't seem to get affected by fatigue like the rest of us. He's a bit like Mark Felix like that.
Absolutely.
There's just some athletes that just manage to recover quicker than others.
I've got the order of the first event.
Ooh, tell us.
They're going up in pairs. Pair 1 is Matthew Ragg and Brian Shaw. Now, these guys were both second in their group, so
that's interesting.
I guess not hugely surprising.
I'm surprised to see Brian out first.
Yeah, I am too. Group 2 is Luke versus Evan, which will be an interesting one to watch. Then group 3, we've got 1 first place finisher in their group versus 1 second place finisher in their group. And this is interesting. It's Mitchell Hooper and Tom Stoltman.
Ooh.
So the current World's Strongest Man versus the guy who did the best in the groups overall with the most points. Then we've got Trey Mitchell versus Pavlo Kordiaka. And then the final pairing is Jaakko Schoonvinkel versus Alexei Novikov.
Wow.
And you know why? They know Jaakko's going to be good on this event. They do sometimes do that. They put the guys they think they will be the best in the last pairing. And then obviously after this, it will go in reverse order from the previous, from the previous results. So interesting.
Very interesting.
Bit of tomfoolery going on. Oh, Mitch and Tom against each other, and Brian in the first grouping. I don't think I like that. But there we go. Bonnie, thank you for becoming a member. And HMR, thank you so much for the super chat. Love you guys and all you do for the community. To join with a membership on phone, minimize the stream and go to Loz's YouTube page. Right next to the sub is join.
Thank you very, very much for that.
Yeah, I know you can do it from the actual channel, just not sure when you're in a live. Really mysterious. Thank you for the super chat. They should make the shield look like Eddie Hall, a massive Eddie head.
I saw it. Eddie's looking big again.
Yeah, he does look big, doesn't he?
Isn't he supposed to be doing a bodybuilding comp?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it looks like he's given up on that.
He said he wanted to bulk to 400 before cutting.
That's just ridiculous. If he's bulking to 400, you may as well get back into lifting.
Well, absolutely. Gray Helen, thank you so much for the super chat. Good morning from Arizona. For membership on Android phone, it pops up when you're choosing super chat or sticker. Oh. You can also close the chat and there's a join button on the right hand side.
Thank you all so much for pointing these out.
Yeah, and super chatting in order to do it. That's really kind. Thank you. What is your prediction for Jaakko Schoonvinkel? We think he's going to do very, very well on this next event, or the first event, sorry, the Shield. Deadlift, he will drop a couple of points because there's, some big deadlifters in the final. Dumbbell, I think he'll drop some points.
Not as many big deadlifters as they could have been.
Definitely. But yeah, who knows? These guys are quite unknown to us, very unknown to us at this level against these guys. So we will see. But we definitely wish both Matthew and Yako lots of luck. And what a great promotion they have been for OSG.
Unbelievable.
Arrow, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for turning spreadsheets into a legit spectator sport. We brought the spreadsheets alive.
It's good to know you guys enjoy it along with us.
Kyle, thank you for the super chat. How do athletes typically qualify for World's Strongest Man?
So the qualifying route is to qualify through Giants Live competition. So if you are top 3 at a Giants Live competition, you will automatically get invited to World's Strongest Man. Then it's based on positions in those competitions. And then they start looking at other competitions and people that are performing well in major comps. So they will look at things like the Arnolds, the Rogue Invitational. They will look at OSG because OSG is what's been created to give anyone a chance. Because at the moment, obviously, Strongman is more popular in certain regions. You may, if you're a regular viewer, see that Liz and myself have been trying to get competitions in other areas because we know there's some amazing talent out there. But if you are a talented athlete, OSG do an online qualifier for their World Championships that anyone can enter. You just do the numbers, you just abide by the rules that are set, do your qualifying numbers, and you upload them to the official Strongman website. And then the top athletes are then invited to compete in America, which is the World Championships, the OSG World Championships. They have all the different weight classes, the women's classes, but the men's open is an opportunity to get an invite firstly to Giants Live. Yeah. But the highly likelihood is that the winner, and in this year's case, the top 3 have all been directly invited to World's Strongest Man. It is a very, very high standard competition and the best way for unknown athletes to get noticed, or athletes that have kind of made it but not quite been good enough to get to the final and established as kind of real invited to lots of comps to go back into and prove that they have improved and deserve to be invited again.
But other than that, it's invitation, isn't it? There are invitations sent as well. Have they confirmed? No, they're likely to confirm after this year's competition is finished. Last year, it was straight after the final. They said it would be coming to Myrtle Beach. D Souls, thank you for the super chat. Sorry if this has been asked already. What do you think of Stoneoff? Doesn't it place too much importance on one event and could be unfair if a large point gap exists between second and third?
We seem to hate Stoneoff.
Yeah, we don't like the Stoneoff.
I think Stoneoff would be good as a final decider if people were tied on points.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do a Stoneoff. Yeah. But otherwise, I think it should just be top 2 in the groups that qualify through to the final.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have any upsets in the Stoneoff this year. All the second place guys went through. And as much as we love Ibers, it would have been quite a travesty if Matt Ragg, with his really strong performance in Group 3, didn't make it on the Stoneoff.
Absolutely.
We saw it happen to Alexei Novikov in 2019. He was 7 points ahead of Trey Mitchell, but lost out on his position in the Stoneoff. If that had been a normal event, there's no way he was catchable. He was in such a safe position because there's only 6 guys in the heat anyway. It's only 6 points up for grabs. But yeah, not fans. We hope to see a format change. Please, God. Chad, thank you for the super chat. I live 5 hours north and it's pouring. So let's see. We're hearing now that it's starting to rain harder there. So this is not looking good for a imminent start time. We will bring you guys the information as soon as we have it. If it ends up being a longer delay, then we'll look at what we're going to do and when it's likely to start.
Yeah.
Liz, how would you celebrate if Uncle Loz had won? I would have been a blubbering mess. I don't know.
You were there when I won a World Championships.
I was.
And you were there when I won Europe.
I was. Yeah. And yeah, there were tears.
But,
always tears. Yeah. I'm an emotional bint. I know. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the funniest one, when I won Europe's, we planned to go out, but I was just so exhausted from the effort that I put into the competition. And some of my friends were there, and I got bought these ridiculous cocktails and stuff like that. And I had half a sip of one, and it just made me feel sick. And I was like, oh, let's just go to the room.
Yeah, and cuddle.
The thing is, you're absolutely battered at that point.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, immediately after a competition is no time really to be celebrating, is it? But yeah, it would have been big shenanigans. Rasmus, thank you for the super chat. What about World's Strongest Man adding things like strict bicep curl ladder? Oh, I'd hate that. Or reverse truck pull, like pushing heavy with things like friction.
The pushing events exist
Yeah.
already. I've seen truck push. I've seen the Titans turntable.
the
If you
Wheel
look
of
at the
Pain.
Arnold's at the Wheel of Pain is that type of an event. The strict bicep curl is an extremely dangerous event to have in strongman, especially as a ladder, because people will try and do it quickly. You see more bicep tears on things like that than anything. I mean, if you're an arm wrestler that's kind of like developed that tendon strength over time, it's a little bit different, but that would be a very dangerous one to have in a strongman competition. And I think if you kind of brought it down to even like the lower level, we'd see more and more injuries on an event like that, whereas truck push is actually really cool, and I've seen it a number of times.
Yeah. Ricky, thank you so much for becoming a member. And Jason, thank you for the super chat. I don't think Brian will be able to deliver. I think Rauno pushed him too hard. 11 stones is mental. It's not ideal at all. No one wants to do a stone off. No one has ever been pushed that hard on that stone off format and like to get into the final as Brian was 2 days ago. So it will have definitely taken something out of him. But stones are such a strength for Brian, and he's so natural at lifting them, isn't he?
Yeah.
How much do you think it will affect his performance in the final?
Do you know what? He's going to feel it.
Yeah.
He's a 41-year-old man, and he will feel it. But watching back, he had more in the tank. I don't know if you guys have seen the video. Is up on, I think it's on the World's Strongest Man. I don't know where it was, but I've seen it. And he looked like he had more in him.
Yeah.
I think he could have done whatever he needed to do.
Yeah. No one was.
The fact is, it will affect him, especially having the rest day. He'll start to feel it a bit more.
The DOMs.
So it could affect him a little, especially as we get to day 2 tomorrow of the final. But he's prepared very well for this competition. And like I've said many times, these events are very good for him. Brian, in his absolute prime, and I know people kind of criticize me for that because he's looking amazing, especially, and I genuinely believe he's looking like he's got a chance of winning. But these events, you'd have him as the heavy favorite.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely. These are great events for Brian. Another Brian, thank you for the super chat. Bobby deserves to be in. Very passionate from Brian. Yeah, it's hard. And this is one of the things we don't like about the group stages. They are inherently unfair. Yeah. And when we saw that group 1, we just thought, oh no. And it's a very similar position to that Pavlo Cordiaca was in last year. He had Martins Lisses in his group and Maxime Boudreau. And Maxine is one of the absolute best stone lifters. So if you don't win your group and you end up in a stone off with, or Martins is one of the best stone lifters. That's okay.
Martins, I wouldn't want to be in with a stone.
No, yeah. And he performed brilliantly throughout, would have made the top 10 if it was across the board, but then missed out on the final. JR, thank you for the super chat. Should dumbbell have been loadable? 155 looks too big.
I think so, yes. I think if they want to see world records, it should have definitely been loadable. I think the size of that 155 is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Yeah, I think it's dangerous, to be honest. Anything happened yet? No, not yet. It is raining.
It looks like things might be starting. We're just waiting to see. There's a generous super
I
chat
know,
there.
but where is the comment from JB? JB, where are you? I'm looking for you.
I will have a look for JB.
Yes. Where is JB? Loz is going to find you.
I'm going to try.
Or just type your comment again, but in capital letters, and Loz will find you. Come on, Loz.
It's JB's first ever super chat. I don't know if it was just meant to be a sticker and supporting us, but thank you.
Yes.
And we will look for your comment. If you have a question to ask or anything, let us know. We will look out for it.
Yeah.
Mods, if you can look out for it as well, that would be great.
Nicola, look for JB for us, please. Scotty Lace, thank you for the super chat. Did Mitch seek advice on the best mid-comp beer?
Probably. He likes a beer.
He does he likes to relax at a competition.
And let me explain the reason. People are, you shouldn't drink. As long as you have 1 or 2, it's absolutely fine. What you can't do is go and get hammered.
No.
You know, and if it helps him chill and sleep easier at night, then it's going to be much more effective than being stressed and staying up and, you know, thinking about the competition all the time. So I think a lot of the time we see like these pro athletes and we think they must be gods that don't ever do anything that they shouldn't. But the reality is just doing things moderately is not a bad thing. It's when you take things to excess that is the issue.
Yeah.
And Mitch understands that that mental side is just as important as the physical.
Jared, thank you for the super chat. No favoritism for Brian in the finals, apparently. No, going out in the first group on a max distance event sucks.
Apparently, they've done it in alphabetical order.
Alphabetical? Bollocks. Let me check that list again.
I don't know. Someone said that to me, but I haven't checked. I can't remember the list based on first places and second places.
No, that's nothing close to alphabetical. That is not alphabetical.
There we go.
So in the first group, so they're going out in pairs. In the first pair is Matt Ragg and Brian Shaw. Second pair is Luke Stoltman and Evan Singleton. Third pair is
Sorry, I've just found JB and he just said it was just to support us. So thank you very,
JB,
very much.
That
JB.
is so generous. Thank you
very,
so
very much.
Thank you. Third pairing is Mitch Hooper and Tom Stoltman. Fourth pairing is Trey Mitchell and Pavlo Kordiaka. And the final pairing is Yako Skumvinkel and Alexei Novikov. I'm hearing
they're doing some
maybe 2
links
to 3
for
minutes.
TV, and then we will be getting underway.
Let's quickly try and get caught up in the meantime on the chats. Russ, thank you for the super chat. Looking at Myrtle Beach weather radar, it looks like rain until 11:15. We might be waiting for a while.
I think they're going to get going. Even from updates from there, it's raining a little bit, but they're going to get going with the shield regardless.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Lewis.
Here's his comment. Do you think Pavlo can get top 3 overall? I would not be surprised.
It's a possibility for sure. Yeah. He's been so impressive, and it wouldn't be there's so many scenarios that could happen with this year's competition that it wouldn't surprise me.
And it's guys like Pavlo, Evan, even Yako and Matt Ragg making our predictions really difficult to do because there's so many guys that can do well. Daniel, thank you for the super chat. Do you think shorter person can be good at strongman?
Yes, it's been proved before. I mean, how short is a good question because short in strongman is different to short in everyday life. But the reality is, say the same thing to everyone. Focus on you being better. Don't look at the excuses. Just focus on you being better. There are some great strongmen that are under 6 foot. And obviously there's lots of great strongmen over 6 foot. Darren Sadler was, how tall is Darren? 5'8"?
He's 5 foot. He says 5'10", but to be honest, he's a fraction taller than me, as I reckon more like 5'9", 5'8". Yeah.
Rob Kearney has won international competitions.
He's 5'10", yeah. Is he 5'10", Rob Kearney?
I would say that. Lalas was under 6 foot.
Yeah, Lalas is.
So there's some really good strongmen under 6 foot. We've been to some of the under 105 comps, the under 90 kilo comps. There's some incredible athletes that are much shorter.
Darren Sadler's 5'7". Random, thank you so much for the super chat. Bobby not making the finals may be a blessing in disguise. He was having some hamstring issues in the stone off. Now at least he can rest and heal.
Yeah, Bobby will only improve from this. He's already made huge progress from last year in terms of his overall ability. We need to look into the hamstring and see what's going on there. But he proved he is one of the best. If it was all against all, he would have been 5th. And he underperformed on the log with the hamstring kind of getting him. So there's still better to come.
Nico, thank you for the super chat. It's projected to possibly rain all day there. And they won't not do it in the rain. Like strongman, we see big competitions in the rain quite a bit, or we did in the past. But there's certain events like a Fingal's Fingers that it's just too dangerous. So
I did a competition in Ireland with Terry Hollins, so he can kind of.
It was pouring down, wasn't it?
Absolutely, every event it was relentless. Gale force, rain and winds, and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for TV, so it didn't matter so much. But obviously for TV, it's a bit more important to get quality footage and safety as well for the athletes.
Yeah. Ashley, Tom to smash world's 3 times champion.
3 times champ. That would be so incredible if Tom got the 3-peat.
And he'd be the first man to do it since Magnus Magnussen. So 3 consecutive back-to-back wins.
Magnus ended up with 4, but yeah, he did 3 in a row.
People reckoning that Brian didn't look fatigued at all after the stone off.
Yeah, people will say that, but trust me, he will be feeling it. It's what athletes show and what athletes feel is very different. Mariusz Pudzianowski used to walk away like nothing was wrong, and then backstage he'd be on the floor dying. And Brian, a day of rest, people think a day of rest helps. It doesn't, because you start feeling it worse. If you've ever had a really tough gym session, it's not the next day where you feel bad, it's the following day.
Yeah.
He will feel it, but he's also prepared for it. They all are. They've trained for this, you know, they've trained to go as hard as long as it takes, but they're still human. Remember that. As much as we look up to them and think these guys are you know, monsters and, you know, mythical creatures, I've competed against the very best in the world, and I can tell you they are all human. They all feel emotion, they all feel fatigue, they all feel pain. They're just tough bastards that keep going.
Yeah. And on a similar vein, Helen saying it was crazy to hear Brian say it was pretty easy and it helped him figure out the tacky. Brian easily could have done it 10 more times by the looks of it. Like,
he could have kept going.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it didn't take it out of him.
Yeah. But thank you so much for the super chat. People talking about Eddie Hall wearing high heels. I don't know about any of this.
He's trying to make himself taller.
I don't know. Phil Deland, thank you for the super chat. Amazing content as always. Lars, you competed in all kinds of weather like what we see today. Was it harder to compete in hot or cold weather? JF has said he prefers cold, but he's Canadian.
Yeah, see, I preferred hot weather. I've got a sort of Middle Eastern background, and I cope better in the heat than I do in the cold. I hate it when it's too cold. I never really got sunburn and stuff like that. The only thing with hot weather, you've got to be really conscious of staying hydrated. Yeah. And but for me, hot weather was better than cold weather. But something kind of in the middle is perfect. When it's just nice, then it's perfect.
Rasmus, thank you for the super chat. Could we make a strongman wife contest? The strongman actors, coaches, and the wives battle it out. World Strongest Man wives, I would 100% watch. Oh, that sounds horrible.
Who would win that?
Not me.
Well, probably
battle it out. Sam Bellevue would win 100%. Yeah. She is like an 82 kilo champion.
Maxine's
she would kick all
partner,
of our asses. Yeah.
She's an unbelievable strongman.
Yeah. So contest done. How about we have a fight instead? Battle it out, he said. Not an actual fight, but like a chicken fight.
A chicken fight
in the pool. Yeah.
Well, me and Evan lost to two of the strong women.
Yeah, to Hannah Lindsay and Mel Peacock. Yeah. Women are tough.
Well, they are tough, and as a man, you feel like you've got to be a bit. You can't. You're in a no-win situation.
Yeah. And also, she can grab your chest. Yeah, you can't grab her.
I remember, like, where do I put my hands?
Little T-Rex.
She's just like smashing into me, not caring, and I'm like, what do I do?
I can't do that. Yeah, it was a bit unfair. Oh God, I had a chicken fight against Corey Butler.
Corey would be doing. Bobby and Corey would be a team.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, she is solid as a rock. Mistakes were made, but I fought valiantly to the bitter end.
You tried your best.
I did do my best. I was just like, no more, Liz, you're going to get hurt. And I was like, I don't care. Aaron, thank you for the super chat. Who's the youngest athlete to make the final, does he? The final.
I believe Kevin Nee.
Yes. No, he was the youngest to compete.
Yeah. Is he not the youngest to make the final as well?
It will be in the Strongman archives on records. Have a look.
Oh, I was just trying to go through the comments to see if we've missed anything.
Oh, someone has just gifted 50 memberships.
Oh,
Ricky, wow. Thank you so much, Ricky. You madman. Thank you.
Much.
That's very kind. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very, very much.
Going crazy.
You have been gifted a membership from Ricky. Yes. Give him a shout out, and you've got some extra videos you can watch. Some of our behind the scenes stuff, some of our mess ups.
Oh yeah, more mess ups than anything. Yeah, but we do have a lot more planned.
We will have members only lives probably next week actually. Once World's Strongest Man is all done.
Once everything dies down.
We do a few extra things for our members, and Liz has things planned. So and the members support this channel so much. I mean, World's Strongest Man week is amazing, but the rest of the year is a lot more calm, and it kind of makes up for that. It allows you to do this full time, and we try and do as much as we can to keep improving the channel.
Absolutely.
I want to get a good camera for this next year, soon, so our lives are really crisp.
Yeah, we don't want it too clear though. I don't mind a bit of blurriness. I don't want to be in HD, Lozzie. Christ, 4K. No, thank you.
So apparently we've got over 4,000 people in and only 900 likes.
Oh, so if you could please like the video while you're here, it would mean a lot.
And subscribe to the channel.
Yes. Sorry, Pascal.
What
back
did you want me
you.
to look at? Sorry, before.
Who's the youngest person in the final? Been watching since before 30,000 subscribers. Y'all are my go-to source for Strongman. Thank y'all. Greetings from West Texas.
We love Texas, don't we?
Yes, we do.
We'll be back in Texas later this year.
Granted, we've only been to where did we go?
Austin.
Austin, yes. And we flew into Houston, but I wasn't allowed to leave the airport. Oh, JB has said he just wanted to support you. Thank you so much, JB. It's
Thank
very,
you
very, very kind.
Where do I find it?
Go on to records. There you go, Leslie. And the top half is all World's Strongest Man records. What's the Strongman?
Youngest World's Strongest Man finalist was Anton Bouchot.
There you go. I knew it wasn't Kevin Neer because Kevin didn't make the final.
21, yes, he did. 21 years and 140 days.
Click on that. Click on the actual record itself over on this side, and it will show you the others. Yeah.
Kevin Neer second.
Oh, okay.
22 years and 33 days.
Oh, sorry.
Harold Haugen is third, 22 years and 258 days.
There you go.
Hafthor Bjornsson, 22 years and 300 days.
All right, that's enough because we've got a lot of chats to get through. Kurt, thank you for the super chat. On that 155 kilo dumbbell looking dangerous, do athletes have a say in that? I.e., can they boycott an event as a group for that reason?
Do you know what they could
They
they wanted to? The first few dumbbells are more normal sized.
Yeah.
And I think from talking to Mitch on the phone yesterday, up until like 140 is pretty much normal what they're used to. Then it just gets a bit ridiculous. So I think they're expecting, a lot of the athletes can't hit a 140 anyway. Yeah. Especially when you think they've already done 6 events, it'll be the 10th event, something like that.
9th or 10th event, yeah, at that point. So no. But they could, absolutely, because if the athletes refuse, then they can't make them. Alpres Cat, thank you for the super chat. Dream World, having Brian face Adrinas on Stones one last time as his final appearance. No greater rivalry in the sport. Find me a better one.
There is no better one.
No, there isn't. Those two, 8 years in a row, it went back and forth, that title between those two. What an era. What a terrible era to be an athlete, though, eh, Lasso?
Oh, yes. If it wasn't for Adrinas, I would have won at least 6 more internationals that I can remember coming second to him in.
Yeah.
I've been second to Brian in some really big comps. Those bastards cost me a lot of money.
Monaco's under a palm tree. It's raining. Oh, no. Not good. All people enjoying the new emojis that Andrew won is worth the membership alone. Glad you agree. It's my screensaver as well on my phone. The disgusted Andrew. I accidentally opened my wallet on.
She sometimes joins us, so we may see Andrew at some point in the chat.
You definitely will. Peter, thank you for the super chat. How is Mitch's Fingals prep? Looks like he's planning on going for speed, but from what I remember seeing a lot of athletes struggle under the weights of the fingers, how will he fare on the last 2?
Do you know what? It's a bit of an unknown for us. His finger that he was training on was a bit odd. He sort of wooden, but he's very explosive. Blocky. He's very fast. And the fact, when he first finger session he did, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Was terrible. And he's made a lot of progress in terms of technique. He looked pretty comfortable on the finger that he was practicing on in the qualifiers or in the boneyard, in the training yard. I think he'll do okay. I really do. I don't expect him to win, but I think he can place consistently high, which is, that's the game plan for Mitch. He'll want to do really well on the shield carry. He'll want to do really well on the deadlift. The fingers is all about experience and damage control. Truck pull, he wants to prove to people that last year there was a reason why he wasn't good at truck pulling, and I'm expecting a much better performance from him. The dumbbell was kind of considered a weakness, I'd say, a year ago, but we've worked really hard at it, and he's made some huge progress. And his stones have made huge progress as well. So although there's none of his best events, like if there was a super yoke in there or a loading event, or he's actually really good at squat for reps, there's other events that he's really good at. These aren't the events we would pick for him to win World's Strongest Man. No. But what events could you pick and completely disregard Mitch in a competition?
You could.
He's always going to be a threat, but there are so many great strongmen in this competition that honestly, Mitch could win or he could be 6th. Brian could win or he could be 6th. Tom could win or Tom could implode.
Yeah.
You know,
There's so many ways
Novikov
it
could
could
win.
go.
Novikov could be fifth.
Yeah.
Trey Mitchell could win. He could be fifth. You know, there's so many possibilities.
It's
Pavlo could cause people big problems. Jaco Schoonwinkel could cause people big problems. I really can't. Evan can call people. You know, Evan could be. Evan's a hard one to predict.
Yeah, he's
He
impossible to predict.
I don't think Evan will win, but he could potentially get on the podium.
Yeah, yeah.
And he could potentially be
He's
8th
got
or
some
9th.
really good events here, but
There
Evan,
are so many possibilities with this year's Worlds that I cannot with confidence say one guy is going to win, one guy is going to come here. I think it could be completely all over the place and a really entertaining battle.
Indeed. Right. Dad, thank you for the super chat. Awesome channel. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
We see athletes.
Oh, come on, Lozzie. We've got to catch up. Benjamin, thank you for the super chat. I'm 44, just starting to strength train. I know I'll never be an elite level strength athlete, but is it too late for me to become someone who can throw around and move in practical weight?
Yeah. What was the question?
I am 44, just starting to strength train. I know I'll never be an elite level strength athlete, but is it too late for me to become someone who can throw around or move in practical weight?
Well, you know my answer to this anyway.
Well, I get, but
absolutely,
I'm not you.
Absolutely, you can. You know, a lot of us are never going to be elite pro level in things, but that doesn't mean we don't have to do them. It doesn't mean we can't get better. It doesn't mean we can't enjoy them. I am no longer elite level, but I still enjoy training. I've started arm wrestling. I'm doing fitness challenges. I'm doing all sorts of things, and I'm never going to be the best at them, but I enjoy them and I'm trying to get better. And if you enjoy lifting, then by all means get involved, focus on you getting better. It's an amazing community, very supportive, and it can be done healthily and you can really enjoy it at any age. Also, if you're training at an older age, it helps you kind of just feel physically better. It helps you look better, and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's good to have something for you that you enjoy doing.
Someone was saying that is alphabetical by surname, but it's not, because surnames go R, S, 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 H, S, M, K, S, N. It's all over the place alphabetically. There's no way that that's alphabetical. No, it doesn't matter though.
Doesn't matter right now.
Ryan, thank you for the super chat. If the Brian's...
Brian and Matt Ragg are coming out.
Ooh, if the Brian Z, they still have to do the TV stuff. Ty had gone in the other direction. So Brian had 5 and Z had 3. Would your opinions be different on their legacies?
If Brian and Z had...
So if in 2010, Brian had 1.
No, because I don't base Strongman just on World's Strongest Man. I base it on the sport. And when you look at what Zydrunas has won as a whole, Zydrunas, people seem to forget, World's Strongest Man split into 2 federations after 2004, and the best guys went to IFSA, which was the other federation, which Zydrunas won 2 world titles in.
Yeah.
So technically, Zydrunas could be a 6-time winner of World's Strongest Man. You have to understand
he's got
8 Arnold Classics. Brian has 3. He's won more. He's won more titles than any other athlete by such a long way that there's more to it than just World's Strongest Man. Turn your thing down. But they are both incredible. And if we're just talking World's Strongest Man, if Brian wins this, he is without question the best at World's Strongest Man.
I think he's the best at World's Strongest Man anyway, even though he doesn't have
I
the most
probably agree with
titles.
that. But
Brian
if you're doing the sport as a whole, then there is big arguments for Zydrunas Savickas.
Dwayne, we are going to come back to you in a second. We will leave you up there.
They're
Brian,
at the start line.
Who is this? Who's he with?
Brian and Ragg.
Right. Brian Shaw and Matt Ragg are up first. So this is a 196, did we say? 198 kilo shield carry. Oh, my goodness.
Event 1, first 2 athletes. Turn it down.
I've got it down.
Okay.
This is as down as it go. Come down further. There we go.
Been watching the channel for years and glad to see it help grow. You need to turn it down.
Yeah, I've got the volume up.
As well as you. Everyone watching, hit the like button. Maybe we can get you to World's Strongest Man live next year. That would be amazing. Thank you very, very much for the support, guys. And yes, please go like the video and subscribe to the channel.
So we're going to commentate it to you guys as it happens. Brian Shaw and Matt Ragg are being introduced.
Mute it. You don't know how to.
There's no way to. I've tried turning the volume off completely. That's the volume all the way down. I don't know why it's not going off, but Brian is being introduced. And then it'll be Matt Ragg. But thank you, Dwayne. Did you read Dwayne's?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that one.
Incline Bulf? What's that? Inclined Bulf. How do you say that?
I don't know.
Bluff.
Bluff.
Thank you very much for the super chat. Right.
It's-
What is happening, Auntie Liz?
They are just being introduced for the cameras. Where is his comment gone? We will keep an eye out for you. Sorry, it's all a bit nervy now because the first
Harvey
guys...
Kamek, thank you very much for the super chat. If Mitch wins, would you say he's had the greatest pro year in Strongman history?
We already would.
Yes, I think he's had the best. Well, he's had the best rookie year. Best pro year, I think, is 2017 Thor. Do you agree? Was it 2017 he won everything?
2018.
Sorry, 2018. Yeah. You know the year, I mean.
Yeah.
Where Thor won literally every major comp there was that year.
Yeah.
But
that wasn't a first year. Like Thor had been competing at that level for sort of 5 to 8 years.
If we're talking first pro year, then yes. I think it would be hard to argue it. Because even when Magnus Ver won in 91?
91,
year, he'd actually been competing on the pro circuit. That was just his first worlds. Rick Walker deserves a shout out for 50 gifted membership. Absolutely you do, Ricky. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Fred, for the super chat as well. All right. They're waiting for the whistle.
Whiplash 4, we will get back to you very shortly. They're about to start this.
Right, and they're off. Brian Shaw is carrying it on the inside lane. Matt Bragg going to. That's Brian.
Brian is ahead at the moment, but this isn't about speed. This is about distance. Both athletes going nicely so far. Yeah. Brian's managed to get his hands all the way around, and he's across the first line. He keeps going, as is Matt Bragg. Matt's not too far behind. Brian's sort of nice and steady. It's looking like he's slowing a little bit there, and Matt Ragg might be going ahead of him.
It's hard to tell from this angle, but I think Matt Ragg is
ahead.
him.
Matt has gone down, and Brian is trying to hold on. He's just at the line. He goes down as well. It looks like they've done the same distance. We aren't sure. We'll need to confirm.
Oh, Brian got over the second line. Did Matt Ragg?
I think
so. It's
we will
really
wait
hard
for
to
results to come through.
Brian may be a margin ahead of Matt Ragg. Oh, it's very difficult to tell.
I thought what Brian would do there would be touch his foot if he was really struggling across the line and turn. Yeah, that would have been what I would have tried to do.
To be honest, though, he was holding it by like kind of his fingertips almost. It looked like at that point. It's hard to tell though because we were watching from behind him. So, oh my goodness, my heart's thumping.
It was very close between those two. We should get updates pretty soon.
Yes, on distances.
So it looks like Ragg was down just short of the line and Shaw down at the second line. I'm not sure what the distance is. Is it 20 meters?
I think it's 20 meters each way. So
that'd be 40 meters for Brian.
And maybe just shy for Matt Ragg.
Interesting.
Oh, my chest. Been a fan for a few years. Always found it strange. World's Strongest Man. Don't stream, I'm guessing, since it's the How Strong You Are. Oh, don't bench. Sorry, since it's the How
Strong You Are. Bench
list.
does occasionally crop up. Not that often, but it does crop up sometimes. But it's never been done. Well, they did a bench with like a big wooden log one year.
That was the floor press, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did like a floor press, but there was no handles.
No, so it was literally like in front of them. Yeah. Oh, bless you, Lazo.
Where that came from.
Make sure there's nothing in your beard. No, he's okay.
Okay. Right, you focus on that. I'll see if we can get some official distances.
Could Loss still win points at World's Strongest Man? Current shape.
Could I still win points on a couple of events? Yes, but overall, my static strength is way down. My events are starting to improve again. I'm competing in a Masters comp in May, and like my bench is down, my log press is way down just due to injuries. Squatting and deadlift are way down. I had a decent session today at some throwing and some farmer's walk. My farmer's walk is starting to get pretty quick again. My yoke, farmer's walk, grip events, those are the type of events I could cause people problems with, but I'm just too weak to challenge the top guys.
Why not? Yeah. Be very careful, guys. When you're doing a super chat, it will, like, the button is tempting to click, but that actually just sends your donation without you having text typed in. So you have to type in the first box, which doesn't really jump out. So please do be careful. Schoonfinger Wink
is your favorite.
Schoonfinger Winkle, thank you for the super chat. Do you think Mitch will already be considered one of the greatest of all time if he manages to win his rookie year?
Not yet. No.
Practically a legend.
He's an amazing strongman, but to be one of the greatest, you need consistency over time.
Yes.
So hopefully he will prove that. But just to win one World's Strongest Man is absolutely incredible. And what he's done in his career so far many of us would dream of.
Yeah.
So he's incredible, but to be in that kind of recognition of the best of all time, he needs to do more.
And also the guys that we do consider GOATs, they were great over multiple generations of strongman as well, or eras of strongman.
Okay, so Matt Ragg's distance 37.65. I'm guessing this is meters.
Yeah.
And Brian Shaw 39.1.
Okay, there we
So
go.
Brian Shaw is currently
Choice ahead.
in the lead.
There we go.
Ooh.
It's stressful, isn't it?
It is. Are you guys as stressed as us watching this or listening to this?
Eric, thank you for the super chat. Shout out to Ricky Walker for 50 gifted subs. Thanks, Ricky. Yes, thank you, Ricky. It is very, very generous. How will starting with Shield affect the results, says David? Well,
It's
I mean,
not going to affect the athletes too much. I mean, it's a tough event to start with because you've got to push to the limit, and it's not like a throwing event. Like I mentioned in the last event of the heats, a throw doesn't take anything out of you. Carrying this shield to the absolute brink is much more draining on the body. So
will
they
it
will be
affect their deadlift?
Could do, because the shield carry really kind of starts taxing your hamstrings. It taxes your lungs. It just fatigues your whole body. Whereas some events aren't so taxing. So like the throw, for instance.
Thank you, Tony and Sarah, new members, and really mysterious. Thank you for the super chat prediction for OSG Masters. Uncle Loz versus JF Karan.
Well, JF's already deadlifting 400 kilos, which I'm about 350 at the moment. So he's well ahead of me. But my goal is not necessarily to win. I just want to be in good shape. My goal is to try and get within 90% of my best, but keeping my body weight lighter, being much fitter and healthier. And, you know, winning isn't the ultimate goal as much as I would love to win.
Yeah.
And I will train hard to win. I'm focused on other things and I just want to enjoy it.
Brandon, thank you for becoming a member. And Ben, thank you for the super chat. The Zodiac got it wrong. It's the year of the Moose. First Arnold's, next World Strongest Man. No contest. Everyone else fighting for second place.
Luke and Evan are getting ready.
Luke and Evan getting ready. This should be an interesting battle.
Luke's
good. No, Luke is good at this. I think, did he win it?
He used to be very good.
Oh, no. He was second behind Marius Lallis, who is incredible at this event at Europe's Strongest Man 2021 when he won. Yes. Yes. Keep an eye out for Katie's members comment, but it might be quite high up now because we've fallen quite far behind. Thomas, thank you for the super sticker. And Jonathan, thank you for the super chat. Great coverage. New to Strongman, what are your feelings about drug use? Do you believe it is common? Is it a taboo subject? It's an incredibly taboo subject because all of the athletes have sponsors and the promoters have sponsors who may not want to work with them and support the sport anymore if people were to openly talk about it. So for that reason, we cannot
we have done a video with some talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it today. We want to focus on World's Strongest Man. But thank you very much for the super chat. So, if you go and look in our list of videos, there's a Q&A that we did
with me. It was asking me questions.
More of that for you. New members, thank you so much for the new members.
Luke and Evan up next.
Luke and Evan, are they ready to go?
Not just yet. Names just being announced.
Sean Brook, thank you very much for the
Happy
super chat.
Long day ahead.
Jenny wouldn't mind any of these guys winning. I think it would be a first-time winner, though. Ooh, let's see.
That would be interesting. Yeah. We're just keeping it away from the mic, so hopefully we don't get any interference. Keep scrolling, Lazzy.
I will. Welcome, Hayden. Thank you, Nicola. What's happening? Tell us what's happening, Auntie Liz. Another new member. Thank you so much for joining, guys. Thank you for gifting.
And they're off. They're off.
What's happening? Who's on the inside?
This is Evan Singleton.
Evan Singleton is moving well.
Moving much faster
he's fast. Well, not much faster.
No,
the angle. Yeah. Evan is ahead, though. Evan is moving well. Neither of these can get their hands around the shield. Both starting to struggle a bit more, but Evan's still moving well.
They've got it on their
I think Luke might be just catching him up in terms of distance.
Evan's starting to struggle.
They are both going to beat Brian, though.
Yes.
Now Evan is coming back on his third length, and Luke is still coming back as well. Both of them. Evan goes down, and Luke goes down as well. Evan Singleton is in the lead so far. Keep that away from there.
Evan's very happy.
Evan should be happy with that. He's starting the competition well, and that was a nice performance from the T-Rex.
There we go.
He got about halfway up the third length. So far, he's got quite a big distance over anyone else with some good athletes to come, but should be good points for Evan in this first one.
Yeah. No T-Rex arms forever. And Jesse, thanks so much for all that you
It's
do.
weird they call him the
Thank
T-Rex
you.
because he doesn't have little
No,
arms.
he just really likes Jurassic Park. And Tony, thank you for the super chat. If Tom implodes, he might take out half of North America. That is a very good point. Tom is a big beast of a man. No, I'm sure like Tom isn't like, it's where he's most comfortable as well, strongest man, especially in the final once the sort of pressure of the group stages is out of the way.
Yeah, definitely.
He loves it. Matt, thank you for becoming a channel member. Hey, Brian, I have Rauno's deadlift book. Support Rauno, everyone.
Oh, thank you so
awesome.
much.
Thank
it's
you.
a really, really good program. You've got to remember that guy has 25 years of experience in the sport. He's one of the greatest deadlifters on the planet and one of the lightest to be such a good deadlifter as well. He knows his stuff.
Drog, thank you for the super chat. This is for Auntie Liz choosing the correct answer yesterday. No beards, no booty. Fortunately for me, my wife feels the same. Everyone loves that top. I didn't even choose it myself. Someone
gifted
sent
it to you, didn't they?
Yeah, they sent it to me. It's from a company called Lions Not Sheep, if anyone wants to buy one for their wife or indeed for themselves. Yaniv, thank you for the super chat. Compare your groups and the ones World's Strongest Man did by results if they all competed against each other. Ideally, you'd have one athlete from places 1 to 5, 6 to 10, etc. Yours were more balanced when I checked.
Oh, we'll have to have a look into that.
And have a look. Obviously, again, it doesn't account for gamesmanship. So what would people have to do rather than what they did do? But it would be worth.
It would be interesting for sure. Thank you very much for that. We'll look into it.
Scotty Lace, how do your daily calories compare?
I eat much less now than when I was at my best, but I eat better now as well. I wasn't one of these that cared too much about nutrition at the time, whereas now I take a lot more interest in my nutrition. So these days I'm probably about 3,500 to 4,000 calories a day, whereas back then I was probably about 6 plus, maybe more, but more quality food now.
Yeah. Right, so we're now up to the point in the chat where Matt Ragg and Brian Shaw were going against each other. Yeah.
You keep going through that. I'll see what's going on. So Luke Stoltman did 44.62 and Evan did 48 meters. So Evan Singleton is in the lead. Luke Stoltman is in second place. Brian Shaw is in third. And Matt Ragg is currently in fourth.
Okay.
With 6 more athletes to come.
Apparently, it's alphabetical between first placings and second placings.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Okay. There we go. Is the shield a lot hairier than Giant's Life? Heavier. Thank you, Cole, for the super chat.
I'm not sure. I mean, some people have said it's the same one. I'm not sure if it is or not. I can't remember. I thought the Giant's Life one was about 180.
Yeah, I thought so
and
too.
This one is heavier than that. So I think they're different.
Yeah, I'm certain they're different.
Yeah. I'm sure the shape of them is slightly different.
Yeah, the top end of it looks different. Schoonfinger, Fingerwinkle, thank you for the super chat. Let's say my name 5 times fast. Schoonfinger, Fingerwinkle, Schoonfinger, Fingerwinkle, Schoonfinger, Fingerwinkle, Schoonfinger, Fingerwinkle, Schoonfinger, Fingerwinkle. There we go. Thank you. Oh dear. Let's go, Luke. Connor, thank you for the super chat. We used to have a saying, if it ain't raining, it ain't training. Let's effing go. Tire flip in the rain is always fun. Oh, that's the worst. No, we saw Benedict Magnuson's bicep rip from his arm during a wet
I hate
tire flip
in the rain.
We?
Tire flip in the rain. I've seen so many injuries on tire flip anyway.
Yeah.
But tire flip in the rain, I've seen devastating injuries.
Yeah.
It's just a stupid thing to do. In terms of safety, so you have to look after the athletes. You know, it's dangerous enough as it is. Let's not make it just ridiculous. These guys' careers are on the line sometimes, and you know they've got a lot of other shows to do this year. They need to make things as safe as possible in what is already a dangerous sport.
People concerned this is not a good event for sure. We always figured this would be the worst event for Brian in the final, so I wouldn't worry too much.
If he can pick up a few points, he'll be happy. I think he would have wanted to do better than that because looking at who we've got to come, I think a few more people are going to beat him.
I think Pavlo, Alexi, Tom, Mitch. Yeah, there are some
even
really good
like
guys
Trey did pretty well on the carry at the Rogue Invitational. I think he placed pretty high.
I just remember everyone going flying, especially Maxime. Bless him. I love Maxime so much.
Trey was either third or fourth. He wasn't bad.
Okay. I think he might have been fourth because I think Pavlo and Alexi were ahead of him. Wide, yeah. Luna, thank you for the super chat. What adds to Big Z's accomplishments for me is that aside from all of his wins, the comps he didn't win, he usually came second or third. The list of these non-podium finishes is actually relatively short. Yeah, we did a most consecutive podiums, was it, or most consecutive wins video, and it was wins, and Zydrunas won, and he had 2 streaks of consecutive wins that were longer than anyone else's having with 1 streak. So yeah, he really was so dominant over the time that he was competing. It was a nightmare when you're like, oh yeah, I got invited to this competition. You saw Zydrunas in the lineup, you think, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Year of the T-Rex. Lots of people excited to see Evan doing well. We are too. We really love Evan. It's been hard watching him at Worlds.
Yeah, he's started this competition well.
Yeah.
He looks just a lot more calm, focused, and hopefully he's just learned from mistakes in the past. That's all you can do when you do make mistakes, is come and get better.
Well, Luke and Evan are up. I'm here.
Awesome. I hope you're having a good time, Will.
And finding a way to stay dry. Nothing worse than getting wet and then just being wet all day. Damp. Evan destroyed it.
Yes, he did. He's doing well. I still think it won't hold up to be first. There are some very good carriers to come.
Jaakko Schoenvinkel as well. We should have mentioned him.
He's in the last pairing.
He
isn't
is.
So that'd be interesting.
Very interesting.
I've never seen him do this though, so it will be interesting.
World's Strongest Fans getting ready to do our 10 sets of 1,000 heart palpitations. What do you think will be the most interesting event in the final? Thank you, Student Drinks.
I think the dumbbell is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I think this one is going to be interesting in terms of where people place, because it's a bit more unpredictable.
Every event's interesting. Some of them are more entertaining than
Hooper
others.
and Tom are getting ready.
Oh, here we go.
This could be a good one. Both of these are capable of a good distance.
Liz, will you approve of Love shaving his beard if Evan wins? Nope.
She's seen what's under there.
Bo told, you were bold-faced when I met you. Told my wife I was going back to work, but all I did was park around the corner so I could watch this live stream. If that is true, that is absolutely brilliant. That's so funny. Poor wife, but that's hilarious.
That's amazing.
Jared, thank you for the super chat.
Tom and Hooper are at the line.
Brian got screwed if you assume he would have won the fingers, letting him go last in the deadlift, first in the shield carry.
We can always say that, but it's not screwing Brian. It's not like they've set out to screw Brian, and these things happen all the time in strongman competitions.
Brian getting seriously hurt on a Fingal's finger in the rain and wind would have screwed him much worse. Yeah. Much worse. It's
so easy to look at things from one perspective, but these aren't done to hurt people or hurt their chances. They were literally, it was raining. You cannot do the fingers in the rain.
No. So it's Mitch Hooper and
Dad, Tom Stoltman.
Oh, is
Hello,
it?
guys. Michael here. Love the content you guys put out. Loz, in your opinion, is 36 years too old to start strongman? I'm 6'3" and about 375 pounds. Liz, beautiful as always. Take care. Not at all. Thank you so much, and thank you for the super chat. And you are not too old at all. Mark Felix started at 37. There's been some other great athletes start later in life, and as I've said, now there's so many opportunities in strongman to compete at lots of different levels. Get stuck in, enjoy it, and see how far you can go.
3 years of solid gym training and you'll be a great master.
Yeah, we've seen that as well. We've seen guys that didn't maybe be pros, but they're getting really good as a master because they don't have the wear and tear. David, thank you for becoming a member. They are off with this next pairing. Both are moving well.
This is Tom Stoltman closest.
Tom Stoltman looks just ahead. Oh, they're about neck and neck.
They
actually.
are neck and neck. Yeah.
Good turn for both of them.
I think Tom's turn was slightly quicker. It's hard.
Yeah, Tom looks slightly ahead. Mitch looks like he's struggling big time.
Oh dear.
Mitch is struggling, and Tom is going well.
Mitch is
still going.
Now. He sort of had to hitch it up.
He's not stopped. He's still going. Tom is looking like he's going into the lead. Tom Stoltman is absolutely flying with this. He looks comfortable. He's done 3 lengths.
No, not yet.
Yes, he has.
Now it's 3.
And Mitch is still going. Mitch has not gone down. Mitch is still moving, but he's struggling. He's slowing down. He's getting closer. He's in second place. He is still going. He's going to cross the line to do 3 lengths, and he's still going.
He's still going. He's now
Mitch Hooper is now looking at the target to beat. Mitch Hooper is going to go into first place. He's absolutely killing himself, but he is in first place.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know how he did that, but Mitch Hooper looked like after 1 length he was struggling, and he kept going.
He went 2 more
He was walking sideways like a crab by the end. The weight was low down, and he somehow got into the both Tom Stoltman and Mitch Hooper into first and second place. Unbelievable distances from both of them.
That was crazy.
And I genuinely thought Mitch had messed it up there after looking at that first length, and somehow the guy keeps going.
Yeah, that was insane.
Mitch Hooper, that
Tove,
was incredible.
thank you for the super chat. Here's some super chat money to pay your FaceTime cameraman. We will buy our FaceTime cameraman a
Thank
big
you
drink.
very, very
Thank
much.
you so much. We look after our FaceTime cameraman. The real Johnny Bravo, thank you for the super chat. What is your opinion on being a dual sport athlete like powerlifting and strongman, or martial arts and strongman?
Yeah, it's good. I think being good at sport is good for helping you at strongman. I think a lot of people that have competed in different sports, it helps them massively. You know, I've done multiple sports in the past. I know Mitch Hooper's done multiple sports. Brian Shaw was a multi-sport athlete. Hafthor was. And you can do things like powerlifting and strongman really quite comfortably together. And martial arts as well. You just need to kind of sometimes back off one or the other, depending on which has a bigger competition coming up. But there's nothing wrong with doing two sports at the same time.
Florian, did this already cost Brian the title chance? Try not to worry. We knew, we still think Brian has a chance, and we knew that this event would be the worst event for Brian. It's just going to depend now how many people get ahead of him. I mean, when was it that? No, actually, that wasn't the year that he won, when there was a Hercules hold in the final for Tom, was it? But he was still very close. Keep the faith, because anything can happen. It's not over until it is over. And no, it's not on sand. They're doing this on concrete. God, imagine this on sand. It would be an absolute nightmare. Oh, man. My heart. I cannot believe he kept going. That was crazy.
Honestly, that is one of the most impressive things I've seen, because Tom absolutely smashed it.
Yeah.
Looked solid all the way through. Mitch looked like he was going to be last.
Yeah, he did.
He genuinely did. He was like stopped on the way back after that first length, and it just got lower and lower. And he looked like he was dying, but he kept pushing to get that distance. And fair play to him. He's got some balls.
Medical Moose, thank you for the super chat. Any idea what Benny Magnuson is up to?
He's doing a bit of bodybuilding last I saw.
Yeah.
He's just kind of enjoying his training, getting in better shape. He's looking pretty good.
I don't think we're going to see him anywhere like the deadlift championships anymore, unfortunately.
No, he's much smaller. He's looking lean, and I think he's focusing on just keeping himself fit and healthy.
Yeah. Tony, thank you for the super chat. Did I hear Loz right? He might do a one-day event in the future, non-masters, and please keep on Giants to do a masters competition. I pay
potentially something like that. I would be really up for if they wanted to do a show like that. What I don't want to do is go and get my ass kicked by Mitch and Tom and Luke and all these Alexi, Pavlos. You know, Pavlos. I'm past my best, and I accept that, and I don't want to go to that level anymore. I don't have that hunger to go to that level, but to go and put a show on and compete with some of the guys that I used to compete with and entertain people and just kind of it be something fun, that would definitely interest me.
Angel, thank you for the super chat. Do you think if everyone gets tired from pushing on this event, Brian will have an advantage on the rest?
I think Brian's got an advantage on the rest of the events. You know, it's only one event. Remember that. And this is a final where all sorts can happen. You know, one athlete could win one event, come last in the next one. Yeah, and everything in between. There's so much talent there that you really can't predict things all that accurately. So it could be very interesting.
World's Strongest Man would have done this indoors. It wouldn't be an issue. It has to take really extreme measures for worlds to move indoors. Like 2020, there was an actual hurricane, I think, and they moved it indoors for the heats. One year they did it indoors. So it was when they were in Sweden, they did some events indoors, didn't they? Like the floor press and that kind of stuff, and arm wrestling as well. But 99.9% of the time, the events are outdoors. Yeah. Oh dear. Mitch passed Tom. Do we have any distances for these two, Lazo?
Yes, one sec.
We're just waiting on distances.
I've got them. Just one sec. So Mitch Hooper did 64.8 and Tom did 63.15.
So what's the standing so far? Do you have the archives up, Lazo?
I'm pretty sure it's Mitch Hooper in first.
Tom
in second. I think Evan is in third. I think Luke Stoltman is in fourth.
Yeah.
Brian is in fifth, and
Matt
Ragg is in sixth.
Okay. So we've got two more pairings to go.
Yep. And still good athletes to go.
Next is Pavlo Cordiaca and Trey Mitchell.
Pavlo should be really good at this.
Yeah, I would expect
Trey
Pavlo to be very good.
is hard to predict. He's
He
a
is.
tough
Cookie.
Yeah, he will fight. He's just not necessarily built for this.
No, Trey could do like what might not look great, or he could blast it. You don't know with Trey. But
He's
that's
a
why I like
fighter, though.
watching Trey. Yeah. Ben, thank you for the super chat. You can't bring down a moose. No, that was some grind.
Wow.
The moose is loose. Moose absolutely grinded that. Ukrainian power. Pavlo has to be great at this. Oh, no doubt. I fully expect to see a very good performance from Pavlo.
Pavlo will be very good at this.
Yeah.
And potentially Novikov as well.
Yeah, Novikov can get his arms around it. But obviously, how much does that hinder him with seeing and everything else?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, Cross and Mitch Tick, finest jelly beans raw. You're going to upset people in the chat, and I cannot protect you. but thank
rain,
you for the
apparently.
super chat. Oh, more rain. David, thank you for the super chat. If you could pick any athlete from other sports and turn them into a strongman, who would be your number one pick? Suggestion, Lasher. He would be yours as well,
Lasher
surely.
is just a freak of nature. I would love to see that guy in strongman because he's athletic. You know, to be a good weightlifter, you need that explosive power. Crosses over so much better than, say, powerlifting kind of lifters. Having that explosiveness is huge. And just the ability to learn that kind of supreme technique on lifting events, I think he would make a great strongman. Really do. There's others as well. I mean, some amazing NFL players. There's some incredible athletes in lots of different sports, but Lasher is a beast.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm so sorry I cannot see your super chat, but we will keep an eye out for you. You have to be so careful when sending them. It's easy to send it before you've typed. Peter, thank you for the super chat. That play-by-play call of Mitch and Tom just solidified it. We need you both live commentating like a radio broadcast next month. Do you know what? We would love to move our table, move our sign, park up at the side of World's Strongest Man, and just do this there instead. That would be, I mean, win-win for us, wouldn't it?
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Although it's raining today, so I don't know.
Yeah. No, I could wear one of those hats with a brolly. That would look great. You guys need to put the pressure on World's Strongest Man because I give them a hard time all the time, privately, not on YouTube, and I think they get sick of me.
I hope you enjoyed that. That was just genuine reaction then, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. We are genuinely massive Strongman fans. We get so excited. Yeah, we are. Hard to hear. Is anyone else having problems hearing us? Our setup is, I don't want to touch anything because our setup is no different to normal.
Is someone having problems?
Well, one person, but I don't know if maybe the volume's just down. Sorry for the language, but Tom and Mitch, for fuck's sake. Oh, here we go. Which means we are about to have now Pavlo Cordiaca versus Trey Mitchell.
Chalking up. Pavlo against Trey. Ooh, this could be some more good distances. I think Pavlo will be good at this.
I think so.
I just have a feeling he's built for this type of event.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very good on the Conans.
Yes, he was.
What are you doing?
Thanking someone for becoming a member.
Every time I get goosebumps, I watch Benny's 400. Yeah, that deadlift. Ebenezer Swashbuckle, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, every time. Benny's 460 deadlift is one of the most impressive deadlifts I think ever. It was truly something special. Are they ready? It looks wet, doesn't it?
It looks horrible. The conditions do not look good at all.
So how are they going to do on this one?
Right, and they're off.
It's one of the things with Strongman. Coping with the environment is.
Pavlo Cordiaca is well ahead of Trey Mitchell. He's already
not surprising because Trey's not the fastest.
He's on the return.
Pavlo is eating up this ground. He's moving rapidly fast.
Referee jumped up then. I wasn't sure if they were happy that he crossed the line fully with both feet.
I think he's okay. He is flying. He is going to go into the lead. He is absolutely flying. Trey is steady.
2 lengths. Pavlo is now on his 3rd length.
So Pavlo looks like he's easily going into first place. He's crossed. Oh, he suddenly started struggling, but I think he's done enough to get into first. I think
so too.
That was a bit of a shock.
And Trey's done 2.5, which is very good, actually.
Trey's close to Evan. I'm not sure who's ahead out of those two.
Yeah.
I think Pavlo is into the lead.
We think so, but we will get distances in a second.
Yeah, that was interesting because Pavlo literally just sprinted.
Yeah.
He went up, went down, went back, and then suddenly he just kind of like looked like he
and then he
struggled.
just went,
Yeah.
and yeah.
But I think he's done enough to go into the lead.
I think so too.
Oof.
Woo. Right.
Exciting.
My goodness. Love Rano. Go Gav, Loz, Liz, and Moods. Really mysterious. You're clearly a man of culture. Or woman, actually. Beg your pardon. I should never assume. Although about 94% of our viewers are men.
Although you've brought more like women
6%. 6% women.
It was like
it used to
0.5%.
0.6. Yeah, exactly. So we'll
now,
take it.
Yes.
Joe, thank you for the super chat. How are you guys able to watch it? We may have a friend who just keeps accidentally pocket dialing me on FaceTime. Really weird. But unfortunately, we would get our hands smacked.
Yeah, we can't
if we streamed
it would
anything on here.
we'd be told off.
Yeah, big
So
time.
we'll try and give you as good a commentary as we can.
And you'd never get the Liz and Loz radio. Tony Me, thank you for the super chat. Would Ronnie Coleman have made a good strongman if he trained for it specifically?
Do you know what? I think Ronnie would struggle more. As strong as he was, it's a different. He wasn't the most athletic person. Well, maybe he was when he was younger, and maybe if he focused on training from a young age, he could have been good. He became such a specific bodybuilder that he would have struggled with strongman. Even like if we look at his top end strength, it's not as good as strongmen, as impressive as it was at the time. And bodybuilding is very different to strength training. You know, you don't have to be strong to be a great bodybuilder. And some strongmen don't look that great. So it's a different way of training. But Ronnie was amazing at what he did and genuinely strong. Just you need that athletic ability as well in strongman. It's not just the power.
So for those just joining us, the distances so far, Mitch Hooper is in the lead with 64.8 meters.
Well, we're waiting
for Pavlo. All right, let's get Pavlo and trays, and then we can let you know before the last one.
I think Pavlo went just
people
ahead.
Asking. And thank you everyone for confirming that the audio is okay on our end.
Good. Nice to know it's not us.
Yeah, for once. Yeah. Andy, thank you for the super chat. Thanks, Liz and Loz, for your passion and incredible work in promoting strongman and woman and growing community. Rooting for the Ukrainians and Brian Shaw. There you go. It's nice to have a few people to back because then it's less soul crushing when you're one person. Oh, go on.
Darren, Colin, and Magnus are talking about something. So.
Interesting. There's some sort of
Pavlo might not have touched the first line.
I said that the referee jumped up.
So we are waiting to see what is coming. But
it looked like he touched it to me, but I didn't know if both feet have to go all the way over or if it's simply a case of touching. I don't know. Let's find out. That would be a very disappointing start for Pavlo if he's in some way disqualified. Well, not disqualified, but penalised.
But he might be penalised.
Penalised. Loz Liz, baby Nancy said hello. It's her first Strongman live party.
Hey Nancy.
Hi Nancy.
We'll see you soon.
That's exactly a little baby.
We'll get her in the gym soon.
Yeah.
With her dad.
Yeah, get her doing some
Uncle Oz will come and train too.
Lots of women here. There are lots of women here.
It's not looking good.
Oh dear.
They're still talking. We'll as soon as we know, guys, we'll bring you the results. You can go through the results from before that heat, but
we're just trying to find out what's going on. Where did Pavlo come from all of a sudden prior to Europe's? He won OSG in 2021.
He also won Ukraine's Strongest Man against Alexei Novikov the year in 2020 when Alexei won World's Strongest Man. So he's been around for a while. And the last couple of years, he's really made a name for himself. Yeah. He was very good at Worlds last year in a very tough group. When we did the comparisons, he would have been one of the top 10, but he was just in a group with some real monsters. So didn't get through his group. But he's been steadily improving. I think he was 4th at Europe's last year.
He was.
And he ended up winning Europe's this year. He
lost out on his Worlds final last year due to a stone off with Maxime Boudreau. But he was very good in the group stages. Then, won Europe's Strongest Man this year. And now, obviously, is in the final, beating Tom Stoltman in the group stages.
Yes,
but
indeed.
Those were incredible events for him. And this would be one of the great events for him in the final. So it'd be
it's going to be
a shame if
he's
made a mistake there. Oh dear, very
do
stressful.
some chats. I'm going to try and find out what's going on.
Yeah, I'm Trying to find out too. We need Fortismus back 10 events. I mean, the Shore Classic is probably the closest competition we've got to Fortismus right now. But
yeah.
What is this?
That's the super chat from earlier.
Yeah.
It's just a very generous one, so it stays at the top.
Okay. Right. I need to pop to the lab, Lozzie, before the next heat go up.
Okay, I'm going to try.
It sounds like they're going to be a little bit slower because the referees are currently conferring.
Okay. Apparently Novikov is already out, ready to go, but they're still huddling over Pavlo. Novikov will be touching the equipment, looking at everything, making sure that everything is as he wants it to be. He needs a big performance on this because it's an event he needs to get big points on. So as it stands, we're still waiting to hear what's happened with Pavlo's distance. To me, it looked like he did go the furthest, but what it seems to be that he may not have crossed the line that the athletes have to. And normally in the athletes meeting, they are told your foot has to go across that line. If it doesn't, they may, I don't think they'll disqualify him. I think what will happen is they'll take a meter off, perhaps, whatever they decide is appropriate. But if it's anything more than a meter off, that's going to be really disappointing for him. We wait and see. Hopefully we'll find out soon. All I can tell you is they are discussing it. So we'll try to find out. But in the meantime, 5,596 people online with us. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. If you could please go and like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. It helps us so much. So they still haven't moved Pavlo's shield. Still haven't moved Pavlo's shield. They're
waiting on a measurement. We've got Trey's, which is 50 meters.
So Trey is 50.3, which I think puts him in third.
Let me quickly check the archives.
I'm guessing it will be fourth once we know what Pavlo has done. But I think that was more than...
That's in third place right now. It just depends on what they choose to do. If they're probably reviewing the footage right now.
So it is looking bad for Brian Shaw right now.
It is, because right now he's in second to last.
Could end up in... Yeah.
Who's at the last pairing? Jaakko Schoenwinkel is apparently great at... Oh, God, yeah. He could end up in ninth on this first event, which is almost definitely going to put him out of contention for the win, but not for the podium. And I think people need to remember a podium finish at 41 years old. He's the oldest man in the final ever. And obviously that makes him, he will be the oldest.
And this is the worst event for him. It only gets better from here.
Yes, exactly. So please do not despair if you're a big Brian Shaw fan. And we know there are lots of you in the chat today. Right.
And honestly, anything can happen in this final.
There's commentary from the toilet. Maybe a bit more echoey.
Tell us what's happened with Pavlo.
Why did Shaw perform so poorly? It's not that he performed poorly. It's just not a great event for him.
You know what? As you get older as well, those type of events just not so good.
Yeah.
I was much better at those in my 20s than I was in my 30s, and I'd be even worse now in my 40s.
Yeah, definitely. Pavlo should have been stopped. By the looks of it, by the time the referee had jumped up, Pavlo was already halfway down the other end because he was moving so quickly.
So they're finally measuring Pavlo's distance, but the judges are still discussing things.
They'll probably add a distance penalty onto it.
I've just said that. I think probably they'll take a meter off his distance, because you can't really do more than that.
It was a fraction of not going over the line. Unfortunately, it's and you couldn't really see.
Right, if he crossed, it would have been 66.79,
which is first place. Oh, so he's been given. Oh no, he hasn't.
No, he hasn't been given yet. But if it was all legit, it would have been 66.79, which would have put him in what?
First place.
First place.
2 meters ahead of Mitch.
Really, I think he still gets first place. You can't take away 2 meters from missing the line by a fraction. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I think it'll be very harsh if they take more than 2 meters off.
Yeah, I think so too. More than 1 meter would be harsh.
I thought they'd do a meter.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thinking.
Is that what you would do, Lasse?
Yeah, because it wasn't like he was doing it on purpose by the looks of things, and it was fractional if it happened.
Yeah, it was fractional.
Let's see.
John, from our angle, thank you for the super chat. Awesome job as always. Just praying that we get to watch everything live next year. It's about time.
Me too.
Oh, me too. Because the problem is, even when you get the TV show, you don't get to watch all of it. But last year, they put up on the World's Strongest Man YouTube, like every attempt on the, Flintstone and some other lifts too. So that side of it is getting better.
It looks like it might have cost him first place.
Oh dear.
which I think is harsh if there's a 2 meter difference.
For what looked like maybe half a foot in terms of cutting it short, maybe not even that.
That's going to be disappointing for Pavlo. I mean, rules are rules. I get it. Should have crossed the line, but if we're talking like a couple of inches and they've taken more than 2 meters off his distance, that is harsh.
Yeah. Don't have anything to play back to check either.
No.
But he looked close to the line, very, very close.
We will have to wait right now and see what happens. But anyway.
Shoelace is fair.
Wow.
When this happened to Maxime, they took the entire length away from
that. Was the
Magnus
Classic.
Classic. Yeah.
We said that was really harsh.
We said that was incredibly harsh. Yeah. Hang him for cheating.
Let's wait and
make a
see.
dang decision already. Lots of fans waiting in anticipation. No, it's not an easy decision to make. There's Monica. And, you know, is this something that had been pre-decided? Probably not.
You know, if the referees have had the meeting, the athletes meeting, and athletes are told certain rules, you know, we're basing it all sat here
on
not knowing
speculation.
not knowing what the official rules were. They might have said you have to make sure your foot goes across. I've seen that said in things now. Colin is now explaining things to the fans watching. So let's see what comes of that.
Let's see what they say.
Colin, what's he going to come up with?
Some people saying 1 meter is too lenient. Some people saying 1 meter it's too harsh.
Yeah, see, everyone has different ideas, and you have to go on what's been said in the athlete meeting so that the athletes are abiding by the rules.
Dale, 3G strength, 2 meters max. Anything more is
Whoa.
very harsh. Whoa, what?
If that's true, that's really harsh.
What?
It looks like he's losing 19.8 meters. Now, if this is true,
19.8 meters.
like I said, I think it's harsh, but I don't know what was said in the athletes meeting. So if
he'd lose the whole run,
length.
the whole length.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. They're taking a whole length off of him.
Let me confirm before I kind of say that for sure.
Wow.
So, 45 meter run.
Oh, wow.
That's unbelievable.
That
is brutal.
That is really brutal, especially considering how close he was to that line. Like it was clear he thought he was over it. He's like that with the shield there running. Oh man. Probably not the best time for this, but thank you for the super chat, Brown. Any plans to do another powerlifting meet, Uncle Loz?
Possibly, no more this year, but yeah, maybe in the future. I'm pretty much just enjoying a combination of arm wrestling, strongman, and powerlifting, and maybe some grip comps. I never say never to anything really now, but I won't be competing at Worlds again.
Right, it looks like the last two athletes.
So that is going to be major disappointment for Pavlo. But like we said, we weren't at the athletes meeting. We don't know what was said.
Yeah.
If rules are told and they decided if you don't cross the line, you're not going to get the whole distance of that length, then that's the rules. Unfortunately, it'll be a big learning curve for Pavlo. Clearly good enough, but he will learn from that.
Who's up? Yako Skoonvinkel and Alexei
Last
Novikov.
pairing, Yako Skoonvinkel and Alexei Novikov.
Tony, very upset for Pavlo. Liz made a good point about Welsh Man TV. If they won't live stream, at least show all of the athletes and events. I'm pretty sure people will still...
Alexei and Yako are up next.
Thank you
we'd be tuning in.
Tony.
Thank you very, very much. That's a scandal from what's going on. Poor Pavlo.
This is the last pairing now, and
so
then
we've got the last pair, and then we'll look into the scores. But as it stands, officially, Mitch Hooper is in the lead, and Tom Stoltman is second. What's happening, Auntie Liz?
Just waiting for them. Right,
Close
guys, getting a grip.
Enough. 2 meters max. Yeah, everyone has different opinions on this, but
whistle's
you
gone.
Go on what the referees say in the
Yako Skoonvinkel off very quickly. Alexei taking his time a little bit more, but
Yako looking. Oh my goodness! Yako fell.
Oh my goodness!
Yako is in last place and his face planted into the floor. And Novikov has slow and steady approach. So looking okay at the moment.
Novikov has done 1.5 lengths right now. Oh, that was
devastating
awful.
for Yako. He just went quick and just lost. We've seen Adam Bishop do that.
Yes, a couple of times we've seen it. 2 lengths there for Alexei Novikov, being very careful to go across the line.
He's struggling
So
now.
learning from his
So
countrymen.
Alexei, I don't see him winning. He's
Alexei,
doing
definitely
a
not.
Mitch Hooper here, digging deep.
Digging very
It's getting
deep.
hard. He might.
Oh, it's in his hands. He's still moving.
He's still going.
He's sort of
He's
duck
still
walking
going.
it almost.
I think he might do enough to get 3rd place here. He's struggling. This is exactly as Mitch was, just digging deep. Now he's going sideways. He's gone as far as he can. I think he's done enough for 3rd place.
Wasn't of course.
I think only Tom, Pavlo, and Mitch went 3 lengths.
He went 1, 2, 3. He didn't do 3 full lengths.
No, I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No one else went that distance.
Well,
So I think
out.
he will get 3rd place.
Yeah.
But terrible start for Jaco Schoonwinkel, who was looking forward to that event. Ooh, interesting start to the competition. Some drama with Pavlo Kordiaka. He went the furthest distance, but he did not cross the line, and it's cost him some major points there. We will look at. Have you got the full scores there, Lizzie?
Yeah.
I can tell you the full scores even from not knowing the distances of the last 2 athletes.
Oh, that's awful for Jaco. I feel so bad for him because that was supposed to be like, his event in this, and he started off so fast and confident.
So Mitch Hooper is going to take the win in event number 1, 64.8 meters. Tom Stoltman, perfect start for Tom as well, 63.15. Trey Mitchell, just going under the radar, doing what Trey does.
That's really good for Trey.
That might be 3rd, or Alexei might. I think Alexei may have beaten that. So
we probably have to wait.
Alexei Novikov will be 3rd. Trey Mitchell will be 4th. Evan Singleton, nice solid 5th place for him. Pavlo Kordiaka's mistake means instead of 1st, he's going to be 6th. Luke Stoltman, no surprise to a lot of people, in 7th place. Brian Shaw is in 8th. Matt Ragg in 9th. And Jaco Schoonwinkel will be in 10th. After event number 1.
Oh, poor Jaco. I feel terrible for him.
Poor Jaco, but poor Pavlo as well.
Yeah.
Wayne,
because it's not like he was trying to, he wasn't being
He made a mistake.
Yeah.
It wasn't done on purpose.
Well.
But that is a harsh punishment.
Dwayne, thank you for the super chat. Why did the athletes have their straps measured and cut? Because they have a max length of the straps that they're allowed to use, and some athletes come with these very long straps. So no figure of 8s on deadlift for reps anymore at World's Strongest Man,
and a certain length to the straps.
Max length straps. So the
some
guys
people have
can't
these
let
ridiculous
it drop
long
down,
ones that they wrap around a million times,
and they let it drop down into their fingertips, just like the figure of 8. So it's to stop all of those shenanigans going on. Oh, hopefully Jaco's okay. A lot of people concerned.
I just asked if Jaco is okay.
Why are rules not printed? The athletes have the rules. And these sorts of things would and should have been communicated to the athletes in the rules meeting.
I've been in a number of athlete meetings, and obviously, you really need to listen to the rules and read the rule books. Now,
you just need to be careful.
They're in English, so sometimes that's a problem for some of the foreign athletes, but they are all asked.
They all have the opportunity to ask questions.
I've been in a rules meeting with very recently at Europe's Strongest Man. We were all in the rules meeting, and Novikov wasn't listening to a damn thing that was going on.
No, he's terrible for not listening.
Just in his own little world. And you really need to understand, because rules do change from different competitions.
Yeah.
You need to know all these little things, because you don't want to make a mistake. It's fine not being the strongest, but when you make a mistake that you could have avoided, that's the worst thing as an athlete, to feel like I could have avoided that just by making sure I got the rules right.
Yeah.
It's something when I'm training people, like, let's make sure the squats are deep enough. Let's make sure your lockouts are done properly on logs, because these are things that are going to happen in competition. And then obviously things like this. I've made mistakes before.
Yeah.
We all do. It's just devastating when it's at World's Strongest Man.
Beesums, thank you for the super chat. Could Mitch and Alexia burnt too much? No, I don't think so. These two recover probably faster than any other athletes.
Probably, along with Pavlo, those three are the fittest athletes in the competition.
Henry, thank you for the super chat. Do we have any idea on location for next year's Worlds? Would love to see it in the UK, as I think there's a very strong fan base here. Great
Absolutely. There's a really strong fan base here, but unfortunately, I can't see it being in the UK next year.
Can't. And no confirmation, but we are likely to find out quite soon after World's Strongest Man has ended. So watch this space. J Mark, thank you for the super chat. One of the best World's Strongest Man fields in years. Thanks for spoiling us with your deep and humorous coverage. Success and good health to you both. Thank you, J Mark. Success and good health to you too. Leighton, thank you for the super chat. What happened with Pavlo? Okay, I missed it during traveling and now just getting on here. So we were watching. He did the first length. Say the line is here.
20-meter penalty.
He just cut it short and he was going back. The referee jumped up, Dave Warner, trying to get his attention. Pavlo, I mean, they're shouting crowds. I couldn't hear a word Dave was saying, so Pavlo probably couldn't either.
Well,
Pavlo then went a full length and a full length back and then was going back and went down. But they've taken that full length where he didn't cross the line off of him. So he's gone from first place to sixth place on the first event. And that's what's happening with Pavlo. Bless him. Adam, thank you for the super chat. Every carry I've ever done in comp, you miss the line, you lose the length. Really the only way to be fair about it. Yeah.
Yeah, if that's the rules, that's the rules. It is a harsh one, but if they were all told the same thing, then that's what you've got to do.
Yeah. And K-Rod, thanks so much for the updates. My husband and I are glued to your live watch. Hashtag be great. Hashtag sure strength. Thank you, K-Rod.
Thank you very much. Glad you guys are enjoying it.
Right. So we'll mop up here and then we need to figure out what time they're going to be starting event 2 because it would have started around about now, but obviously they're going to have a break for the athletes at this point.
We'll try and find out what time. If anyone does know, comment in the comments, please. Sorry.
Thank you for the super chat. This is a professional comp. He made a mistake and the others didn't. Fair punishment.
Yeah, I think if the rules were set to everyone competition pre-start, then that is the way it is.
Yeah. He must have been 20 centimeters away, hence 19.8 deduction, says Dave. We think it's more likely that they were told in the rules meeting, if you don't cross the line, you lose that whole length. Obviously, we weren't at the rules meeting, so we don't know.
Just can go on what way we think.
Yeah.
And, if everyone is told things from the start, then that's all you can do. It's a severe punishment, but if you're told the rules, you're told the rules. It's why you've got to get it right, and you've got to make sure that foot goes over.
Loz, no surprise, Luke in 7th.
I know it's harsh, and I would love to see Luke place top 5 in this lineup with these events. I can't see it. And that's not me hating on Luke. It's me knowing where Luke is strong and where he's not so strong and where these other athletes are strong.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised to see Luke in the top 5 at this competition. Different events, different story.
Middelon, thank you for the super chat. Full length from missing by a few inches is harsh, but if you miss the line, you're essentially turning around and going backwards. Tough but fair. Yeah. I mean, Loz's athlete is coming first place, the guy that he coaches. So, but we just got a soft spot for Pavlo.
Yeah, like I said, the rules are the rules. I do feel sorry for Pavlo because he's a great guy and it was such a minute distance away. But the rules are the rules. It's, it's part of sport.
Andrew, thank you for the super chat. Amazing show, Loz and Auntie Liz. Love it. Thank you. Do you think the 505 deadlift will be achieved in 2023?
No.
No?
I want it to be, but I don't think so.
Who do you want to pull it?
I don't mind. I mean, Browno. I'd love to see Browno do it because he's coming towards the end of his career. And I think it would just top off his career incredibly.
Coming towards the end of his career, he's on his second
he's
wind.
He's on a new peak.
He's only just starting, Lozzie.
Obviously, I care about him as a person, and I want to make sure that he's okay.
Yeah, we do not know, Nicola, but as soon as we know, we will let you guys know on the community.
Pretty sure it's going to be deadlift next.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, because the weather. I mean, the weather tomorrow is supposed to be great, but the weather is it's worse now, so they're going to push fingers as far back as they can because that would be one that we really don't want athletes doing in wet conditions. But we will find out for you all and let you know.
Do you know what I'm going to try and do? I'm going to try and get Colin on for a Talking Strongman just after Worlds and go through what happens at the rules meetings and stuff like that to explain to people a bit more.
Bo, thank you for the super chat. I'm surprised they don't have a line spotter for the athletes. Take the guesswork out of the event. It sucks, but rules are rules.
They do apparently. Apparently, Dave was
that Dave's
Warner,
job?
and he was shouting for him to go. But as an athlete, sometimes you're just in the zone. You can't do things. You've got this big shield that's kind of pressed up against
on your face. Yeah, and you can't see. Yeah. Chris, thank you for the super chat. 95% of a rep is counted as 0. 95% of a length is
There you
0.
go. There you go.
There you go. All right. Beesums, thank you for the super chat. Saw the replay and his foot was over the line but didn't touch. I think it had to be both feet, possibly. Like both of their feet had to cross the line, because I thought I saw one of his feet go over. But we will learn more later, I'm sure. Jay, thank you for the super chat. Thor would have destroyed this final, sorry.
It would have been a good final for him.
Very good events for Thor. Hasn't Luke always finished 7th? He's been in the final 3 times, been 7th in the final 3 times. So yeah, but not on every event, obviously. DJ R Monix, long casting, thank you for the super chat. Not harsh at all, even if unintentional. If you don't touch the line, it should definitely be null and void pass there. He can bounce back. Keep it up, Loss and Liz. He can definitely bounce back.
Yeah, he's got some very good events to come.
Yeah, deadlift isn't one of them, unfortunately.
It'll be disappointing for him, but you have to forget about it now. You got to learn from it after the competition, but now he needs to focus on the next event.
Move on. Middle-aged gamer, thank you for the super chat. Why are people saying Brian is done? How are people watching this live? No
one's watching it live unless you're there. But we may have a friend that just showed us a few things that were going on.
Yeah, but accidentally pocket dialed us.
the fact that Brian is placed low on that event does not mean the competition is done. Anything can happen, and Brian's worst event is out the way now. So now he can kind of focus on building up. The last event is one of his best events. So if he's in contention going into the Stones, he's still going to believe he's got a chance. And anything can happen in Strongman, trust me.
And where did he come? 8th in the end.
8th. Right, so, yeah, it could have been worse.
Yeah, it could have been, yeah.
I'm sure before the comp, like in an ideal world, he would have been thinking like
hopefully
maybe 5th or 4th would have been great. And I think maybe 6th to 7th would have been where he was hoping for. It's been more bottom end of where he would want it to be.
Yeah.
But it does not mean it's over.
There's still 5 events to go. Simon, I'm here live. Tom got cocky and dropped it early. I was surprised to see him put it down because it did look like he
could have done more.
It looked like he had a lot more in him, and he obviously saw Mitch struggling and never expected Mitch would go past him.
Knowing that there's still some great guys to come.
Yeah, I was going to say he was.
I think if you're the last person to go and you can just pass the distance and then put it down, that's fine. But if you're not the last person to go, you've got to push.
Yeah, in the 3rd pairing, still with Pavlo and Alexis.
I was angry with Mitch at the Rogue Invitational because he put it down.
And he was
luckily it was enough to win.
Yeah,
but unless you're going last, it's not the best tactic.
Yeah. All right.
Sarah, thank you for the super chat. I'm trying to find out
for becoming a member.
Sorry, I'm trying to find out what time the next event will be.
We'll see what we can find out. Matt, how do you think Bobby or Rauno would have done if they made it to the final?
I think Bobby would have done pretty well. There's some good events for Bobby.
Rauno would have done well on the deadlift.
Rauno could have won
Bobby.
The deadlift.
Rauno would have been okay at this, better than probably people would.
Yeah, I think Rauno could have been mid-table-ish on this event. A deadlift he could win. Stones for a run, he could be anything between 5th to 10th, I think.
Truck pull in this lineup wouldn't have been so good.
Truck pull not so good in this lineup. Fingers not so good. No. I think he would really struggle on the fingers.
Yeah, I think that would have been the worst event for him.
What else is there? Dumbbell, he would struggle in terms of the dumbbell presses that are in this comp. He's not bad at dumbbell, but this is a higher level of athletes that are in the dumbbell.
I think that having the banker in the deadlift would have put him.
Give him a few points. He would have struggled to be top 5, definitely.
Absolutely. I would think more 7th or 8th.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, but I
think Bobby could have pushed to top 5, but the Stones would have been an issue for Bobby.
Yeah. Mike, thank you for the super chat. How good is Tom at Fingal's fingers?
He should be very good.
Yeah, but we haven't seen him do it at World since 2017 or 18. 17. He
didn't do well on it. He had an injury.
Yeah, he hurt his shoulder.
I'm expecting him to be pretty good, to be honest.
He's built very well for Fingal's fingers. It definitely suits the taller guys.
Yeah.
Beezums, thank you for the super chat. Both feet didn't need to cross. Evan reached a leg out and touched it and turned in the lane.
I genuinely, I wasn't there. I wasn't anywhere close to there. I was watching on a pixelated image that wasn't great.
I don't think both feet had to cross. I think one foot did, but I think he was like a fraction
He must have just been a fraction short.
Yeah.
You know, until we get to watch it clearly again.
Yeah.
I won't know, but people that were there Dave Warner would have been there looking at the line.
Yeah.
That's the man that knows. If he says it didn't cross, it didn't cross. Because
Yeah.
Dave is as honest as they come. He's not going to make up any rules to
Screw
give
an athlete.
anyone an advantage. He's just an honest dude that does his job. And
Yeah.
if he says it didn't go over, it didn't go over.
This is funny. Shonek, thank you for the super chat. Have you seen Eddie and Brian's fun bet if he wins number 5? If Brian gets it done, Nick Best gets to wax Eddie's beard with
I heard
tacking.
about this.
I think we'd all like to see it, to be
I think-
honest. Thanks
yeah.
for everything, love from Texas.
I mean, it would be great to see Brian win, but that would be an even better reason to see Brian win.
Yeah. What more incentive do we need? Gone fishing.
No.
Thank you for the super
No,
chat.
I don't.
Mitch played possum. No, he was
Mitch
genuinely
pushing.
struggling.
Mitch and Novikov pushed to the limit
Yeah,
on that.
you could see.
There
Yeah,
was no holding back, but this is the world's strongest man final. You've got to push to the limit now.
yeah, definitely. Oh, James, thank you for the super chat. I'm editing Loz while listening to you guys. It's messing with my brain. Arm Wars.
Thank you, James. It was good to watch the Arm Wars last night. If you guys are interested in arm wrestling, check out Arm Wars. And last night they posted my first ever arm wrestling match.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I should say this, but it was back last year. I have improved quite a bit since then, but it was good to watch back. Well, it was hard to watch back because like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
But it was fun to get involved and get my first super match. And yeah, thank you for having me, guys.
Sebastian, what's a Kanak deadlift? So Kanak is a tool company. So they have these big, very heavy toolboxes, they look like, on a bar. The deadlift is actually a very slight deficit, and there's a little bit of flex in the bar, and they'll be doing it for reps, 353 kilos deadlift for reps. There we go. Is there an appeal system at Worlds? There is. Where has it gone? Alex, there is an appeal system. Yeah, so we'll see anyway. It's still very early days. Obviously, we're not there. We can only go on what people were seeing from the outside, not being privy to what's going on the inside. So we will find out, though, if we can. And El Prescat, if Brian makes top 5 at 41, it's a win regardless. Absolutely. He is already now the oldest man to ever make the
Just
final.
the fact that he's in the final. What's that, 15 finals
15
in a row?
consecutive finals,
That
more than
is
anyone.
incredible.
Yeah, exactly. How long to next event? This is something we don't
We're
know.
trying to find out.
Yes. So I think now would be a good time to come off because we need
Okay.
to find out what's going on, and then we will post on our community page. We've got a live schedule for event 2, which actually should have started 40 minutes ago. So we'll
We
change
will
the time.
find out, and as soon as we know, we'll post in the community and we'll be live before the next event.
Yes, exactly. There we
Thank
go.
you again for joining us, guys. Hope you enjoyed that, and we will be back ASAP.
See you soon.
Do you want to have a quick break? We'll see you in a bit.
Yes.